Hey, welcome back to Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. I almost said Escape Reality Films.
This will technically...
This would be our first pre-recorded episode.
one.
Probably, hopefully the only one, but who knows what the future will hold. In reality, I am off. I am not here.
Yeah, you're not going to be here, Nick.
I'm not here
you're not
right now.
Here at the moment.
Yeah, the camera's lying to you. I'm in Pensacola right now.
We're doing that mindfuckery thing where this will be a piece of existence caught in time.
Yeah. So we basically, even though we just finished the other review, we immediately are ready to talk about this one. So, Book of Boba Fett. Before we jump right in, so since we're pre-recording this, do we want to guess what Star Wars news is going to happen? Do we want to try to predict the future? I think I can predict one thing. I'm going to predict right now that the Kenobi trailer is going to come out on the Super Bowl.
Maybe.
That is my prediction.
I don't know.
You guys in the future can tell me if I'm right or wrong. Go ahead and write in the comments if I'm wrong or right, and tell me how amazing I am if I'm right.
Well, if you say yes, then I say no.
Is there anything else we want to predict? I think that's my main. That was the only thing I think I could take a wild shot in the dark at. That's the only thing I feel pretty confident on.
Yeah.
Because, last week we talked about... last week, and by last week I mean a few minutes ago for us. Last week for you guys.
Yep.
Last week we talked about, they announced the date for Kenobi.
Yeah.
So I assume, since that's the next show coming up, we better start seeing some footage.
Yeah, that might help build up the hype meter.
Yeah, and, the hype is already there for, fans like us.
Yeah.
But,
But for the general public.
Yeah. General public might not know what the next show is.
So
anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the review because we don't have any news because we're in the past.
Yep.
We don't know.
We're not fortune tellers.
Yeah. So, Book of Boba Fett.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
ahead. Here is your warning now.
So we're kind of not going to do what we normally do. Normally we would tell the whole gist.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to bounce around a lot more than normal. I know you have a rant that you want to get through.
Yeah.
Involving Mandalorian culture. And then I want to... I forget what I wanted to talk about. Anyways, because we watched I had him sit because he had not watched any of it.
Nope.
We sat through all 7 episodes in one sitting the night before filming this.
It did the thing that I don't like, but I think it worked just this once.
Okay. Is it
stories?
Is it specifically when it's episodic though that it's a problem, or just in general?
I like watching and reading things in chronological order.
Mm-hmm. So I know what you're talking. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were not a fan of the flashbacks.
Well, I wasn't a fan of it.
Or at least you didn't like the way they did it. You would have preferred if they'd done the flashbacks just chronologically. Yeah. If they'd just been here's all the flashbacks and then here's the present day.
Yeah.
Rather than present day flashback. Yeah. Which my mom. So.
It's the same thing.
I'm with my family when we were watching this, and my mom was also not a fan of that.
It's the same thing they did and
it's what they did with Arrow also, and
they also do it in the first season of The Witcher, which makes it confusing as shit.
Yes, and that's something that came up in Mando Mondays, the other podcast I'm on. The JD, you've seen JD. He works here at the shop. JD also has that problem where all 3 of us on Mando Mondays have seen The Witcher. Mm-hmm. The problem with The Witcher is that I think it works for Boba Fett more than it does for The Witcher, because The Witcher
time gap isn't that big.
Also, Boba Fett at least acknowledges, hey, this is a flashback.
Yeah.
Witcher did not tell you that until the end.
It didn't tell you that
until the end, and then at the end of the season, that's when The Witcher's like, oh yeah, all that was flashback, and it's like, what?
Thanks.
I thought this was all concurrently happening.
Really appreciated that.
As somebody who's only read some of the short stories, I thought they were just trying to make it concurrent. I've read the Witcher short story collections, and a lot of that season 1 of The Witcher is just the short stories being adapted.
It took me It
took me too long to figure. I think it was the wedding, not the wedding. Yeah,
it's the
wedding episode that got me to realize it. The one where they're like, "Oh yeah, you've taken the oath now, and you're going to protect our kid later on." So,
But that's.
anyways, that's
But
neat.
I think they handled.
I think Boba Fett
flashbacks
handled
well
it
with
better.
Boba Fett.
So you can Boba Fett is a show that you can definitely tell is a Robert Rodriguez project,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also definitely a Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau thing. So you have not watched Mandalorian
No,
or any
I
of
have
that,
not.
but you can tell it's a Dave Filoni thing because you have at least experienced Clone Wars.
I know a bit about Clone Wars.
You've experienced some of Clone Wars. You have not. I don't think you've experienced here and there of Rebels,
Yeah.
but not like enough to be like, oh, I get that
Yeah.
from Rebels.
Once again, me with my memory, it's like, this is important. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think the only Rebels thing you've explicitly seen is stuff I've shown you, specifically the World Between Worlds. Because I showed you that episode just
okay.
because I made use of that
Yeah.
in our RPGs. Anyways, so Book of Boba Fett, I guess we'll kind of talk chronologically rather than episode order. So Boba Fett, once again, as always, is just having the roughest weeks. He just has terrible, like his life is just one terrible week after the next.
Yeah. Good on him for just taking it like a champ, though. Like, he doesn't even complain about it. He's like... It's like the Isaac Clarke of...
Yeah.
He's the Isaac Clarke of Star Wars. In which he goes from shit situation to shit situation.
Yeah. So basically, let's talk about that week. So he gets beat up by a blind dude to the point that he falls into the stomach of a creature.
Yeah. Gets out of the creature.
Barely. Gets his teeth knocked in by some Jawas who are like, ooh, shiny armor.
Take his armor. Dragged through the desert
by Tuskens.
Held captive.
Tries to escape with the help of a Rodian who does not want to escape.
Sells him out.
Yeah, immediately sells him out. And then the only good thing that happens is that while searching for water that this kid Tusken is making him do, played by Jimmy Kimmel's nephew.
Mm.
So late night host Jimmy Kimmel.
And is
so Jimmy Kimmel's nephew is like, hey, find some water for me in these gourd
I was curious about I'm like,
so it's an actual plant.
Tuskens have to get water from somewhere since they're not.
It's like a
farmers.
fruit. It's like a melon and a fruit type thing that they find that just naturally occurs.
Yeah.
It's just hard to find.
And so that happens, and then
he gets his
poor Rodian.
The poor Rodian dies because the sand creature comes out and the Rodian gets its teeth knocked in and chest knocked out. All the wind. He's dead. He's dead. So the one good thing that happens to Boba Fett during this week is that he kills that thing.
Yep.
And this is what the terrible week that started with the blind guy knocking him into the creature.
Chain choke combo.
Yeah.
Apparently works super effective against large creature in Star Wars.
Yeah. And so he earns the respect of the Tuskens through this. And so the next week, though, not a great week either for him, because immediately while he's earning the respect of these Tuskens and learning how to fight with a gaffy stick, which, hold it like, come on, do you not know how to hold certain weapons? You don't spread your so with melee weapons you don't want to spread your coverage of holding something. You want to have a firm grip. And so he does not, and that's why it gets knocked out of his hands immediately. Because the Tusken's like, no, you got to hold it like this, not like this. And so during that the next terrible week, though, that Boba has, a train starts coming by and shooting at everybody.
Yep.
Boba just has terrible weeks.
Drive-by.
Yeah, drive-by train. Oh, no, you're good.
On the Tusken Raiders, Tuskens. So.
Yeah, the Tuskens, not Tusken Raiders, Tuskens, and definitely not Sand People.
Yeah.
Because Sand People is definitely the worst one in my opinion, but they're both bad. Yep. So Tuskens, although later on Boba says the S word, he calls them Sand People.
Common parlance.
Yeah. So, anyways, they get shot up by a drive-by train.
First bantha down.
Yeah, and they hide behind. You started having a bantha kill count.
Yep.
And
they end up killing 3, I think.
Yeah, you said 3 by the end of that point where we stopped counting them. Yeah.
I was like, man,
because that was.
What did the banthas do?
Yeah, so they hide behind the bantha to try to fight back. Anyways, Boba comes up with a plan. He's like, look, I'm going to go to town. I'm going to steal some bikes, and we're basically going to use them like horses, and we're going to do a Red Dead Redemption like train robbery. Train heist. Train heist, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And so
that
goes pretty well.
Yeah,
pretty well. After, a training montage of like, here's how you ride a bike. Because Tuscans, at least this tribe have never used speeder bikes. That you can't speak for the whole.
Yeah.
But you can speak for this tribe.
Yeah.
So they do the train heist. Turns out it's the Pikes, the Pike Syndicate.
Mission complete.
Yeah. It turns out it's the Pike Syndicate behind it. Turns out they were carrying spice on their train, and like they were like preemptively shooting the Tuscans because they were like, we didn't know if the Tuscans would try to rob us, so we just preemptively shot.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Which, of course, Boba does not like that answer.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, look, you're going to leave your water with me. Here's some melons. Walk back to town. Get out of here.
I'm gonna have you guys just go straight for like a day, you'll be fine.
I'm gonna have words with your leader in a week.
Yep.
So yeah. So after this small victory in Boba's terrible weeks, the Tuscans once again bringing him further into the culture are like, okay, well here's this gift because you've helped us. It's a lizard.
Yep.
How nice.
Hey. Are you ready for your vision quest?
Yeah, your vision quest, because,
Because we're giving it to you now.
Yeah, because the Tuscans represent natives, and therefore you have to have a vision quest.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the lizard goes up his nose, and then he swallows it. And
there's something that confused the shit out of me, and I'm pretty sure it's magic.
Oh, is it that he finds a tree in the middle of a desert that we've never seen a tree?
Yeah.
I mean,
there are no trees on Tatooine.
That you know of.
I didn't see any trees. Did you?
That we know of. Tatooine was once a water world.
Yeah, not anymore.
Tatooine was once a water world. We don't know what exists still.
Like,
where do you think the melons come from? You think they just exist in the ground?
I assume they were like a weird natural byproduct of that animal they killed.
I don't know. No, because they still find more of them throughout they just have melons all the time. So, anyways.
The fuck is up with Tatooine's environment, man?
Anyways. So, he goes on his vision quest where he, relives his life as a child on Kamino, as well as, dealing with a bunch of other shit that he deals with.
Here's a stick.
And he finds a stick. He found a stick. He comes back with the stick. Lizard comes out of his nose and returns back into the little thing that it was in. And he was like, oh, I thought that was part of the vision quest too.
My assumption for that about the sticks that we find are either some of them have already gone on.
I think it's just so rare.
Or they are reusing ones from dead people.
Maybe. We don't. These are the mysteries. The mysteries of Tatooine.
Maybe sticks just suddenly spawn in on Tatooine.
So,
I don't know.
So yes. So he finds his stick, and Tuscans are like, all right, cool. Time for a robing ceremony, and then for you to build your weapon.
Yep.
So he gets a robing ceremony where he gets his cool robes, which you'll see later whenever we get to Mandalorian, because it's what we see him in first in Mando Season 2.
If I saw a motherfucker dressed in all black in the desert,
I'd be afraid of him.
I'd be scared.
Because the fact that man can deal with the heat that's going to cause, the literal heat, not the figurative kind, the literal heat. It's like somebody who chooses to have leather seating in Mobile, black leather seating.
Feeling dangerous, are we?
So,
but that happens.
So yeah, so he builds a stick, his gaffy stick, out of the piece of wood that he found. So now he has a gaffy stick, and they do a little tribal ceremony.
Yay!
All right, on to Boba's next terrible week.
Boba's next terrible week.
So he goes into town to make a deal with the Pikes. Thank you. And the Pikes are like, look, we've already got a deal with the speeder bike gang that's around here that you've dealt with. Because when he went into town and stole speeder, but he stole it from them. He also saw them earlier, killing a village. In the first episode, during the first bad week when when they were looking for melons with Jimmy Kimmel's nephew. So like you've seen these Nikto bikers hanging out, and so they're like, we've already made a deal with the Nikto bikers. We can't renege on that. So you either got to deal with them or just out of luck.
And he just goes, okay.
He's like, fine. So Boba Fett leaves. He's like, okay, I didn't get the deal I wanted, but that's fine. I'll just return home. Boba Fett's bad weeks continue. Because he finds the Tuskens wiped out with the symbol of the Nikto gang being left, meaning that the Nikto gang killed them. So yeah, so Boba is like, well, all right, time for me to go on a new quest. I guess I'm gonna go get my ship.
Yep.
So Boba spends probably because I assume he spent years with the Tuskens. Yeah. Like I assume that this took time because the story kind of like the way the flashbacks jump, it has to be because we start to get closer and closer to present day.
Yeah.
Because by the time we're at the point where he's watching over Jabba's palace looking for an entrance to get to his, it's pretty close to the present. It's pretty close. So Boba has been spending weeks and weeks just looking out Jabba's palace, looking for a way in because now Bib is in charge, and unfortunately there's just so many guards that Boba's like, dang it, I can't get in by myself.
I can't. He's like, I'm good, but I'm not good enough for 40 people.
Especially when he can't get a confirmed count of people because every time he tries to count them, they switch the guards out. Yep. And so he's been riding this bantha this whole time, and so he rides this bantha out. He decides to eat some chicken, some space chicken. Scurriers?
Scurriers.
Yeah, sand chicken, some scurriers. And so he eats some scurrier, and he hands some leftover to his bantha. Yeah. And so while they're eating lunch or dinner and enjoying themselves at a campfire, Mando season 1 events happen in the distance, and we see the bright light of a flare go off. Boba, of course, is interested in what's going on.
I don't have anything better to do.
He's like, I'm out in the middle of nowhere and a flare just went off. Let's go see what that's about.
Might as well.
So he goes out and he finds a dying Fennec Shand.
And he's like,
well, I can't let her just die.
Yeah.
So he goes, he picks her up, takes her to this modding, basically the mod parlor. It's basically a tattoo parlor, but for modding.
And I'm over here like, we were having this discussion. I'm like, man, doctors are fucking short supply around here.
Yeah.
Because Galactic War,
it just ended, but people are still recovering.
Yeah.
So
this is the closest thing they've got.
So he goes to this modder and he's like, look, I need you to bring her back. Here's all this money.
Yep.
And modder's like, well, why didn't you start with the money thing?
It's not the money thing.
Or what was it?
It's like she's dying.
Oh yeah, she's dying.
It's like, well, why didn't you say so?
Although the money does help.
He does the money first, and then that doesn't work.
Yeah, because he mentions that he has like all these, because once again, like a tattoo parlor, he just has people that called ahead. Yeah. Like there's people that are here to get their mods.
It's one thing when it's like, oh, this is nice, and another thing when it's like, I need like an artificial heart, like now.
But in her case, she needs like an artificial gut.
Yeah.
So he redoes her entire gut, and like they leave it open because he's like, once again, an artist doesn't hide their work.
Yeah.
So the modder's like, why would I hide my work? And Boba's like, okay, fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Obviously later on, Fennec always wears clothes over it to where you don't see it anyways, but that's a Fennec choice, not a. So, Fennec wakes up and is like, oh, I'm not dead, and he's like, yep, I saved you, so now you owe me.
Welcome.
You owe me. Because it took some money to do that. And Finn is like, well, what do you want and who are you? Well, I'm Boba Fett. I know this is hard to believe because Boba Fett rarely took off his helmet, so most people don't know what he looks like. And also people think he's dead right now, but it is me.
Also, I need help getting my ship from in
there. Yep. There are too many peoples.
Yep.
So Fennec is like, look, I'm not going to keep working for you, but I'll do this one job, and then we're square.
Out of gratitude.
Yeah, out of that, we're square.
Yeah.
So Fennec, like, has this cool little spy like probe droid that
Yep.
she sends into the building because Boba explains the whole, well, I can't get a proper count. So she sends this droid that does in like a perfect scan of like,
Yeah.
basically does like one of those landscape photos, or not landscape. What's the one? What's the name of the one where you can do like a 180 on your phone, or the 360 photos?
Yeah.
Basically, she does that with the probe droid, where the probe droid like just gets a perfect photo, but it's like just heat signatures and like a layout of the building.
Yeah.
So it comes back to her, and she's like, "All right, well, we'll just wait till a guard shift change, and we'll sneak in on the side."
Yep.
And so they sneak into the kitchen, where I like this. I like this scene more than most people. I think it's fine to have a little bit of goofy in Star Wars because Star Wars has always had its goofy moments. Like
Yeah.
anybody, I get that not everybody wants this because they're like, "Oh, it's Boba Fett. It's got to be serious." It doesn't need to be. Give me some goofy moments. It's not like we've had too many of those yet. We get a couple more, but not too many.
Not too many.
And so I'm fine with this.
Yeah.
And so like the kitchen droids are like, "Oh, we think we heard something. Get the rat catcher droid." And then Boba Fett and Fennec come in. They deal with the kitchen droids, and then they hide because the rat catcher droid comes in looking to see what's going on. It's like, "Where's the little womp rat? I'm gonna catch it." Oh no, it's Boba Fett. And Boba Fett's like, "Do you know who I am?" "I'm Boba Fett." Best moment. It turns itself off.
It's like, I don't want to deal with this.
Nope. I know who you are. I don't want to deal with this. I'd rather be in a coma than
deal with it.
Because basically that's what he put himself into. He put himself into a droid coma because he's not waking up unless somebody else turns him back on.
Yep.
Like, as far as that droid's concerned, he's dead.
Yeah. They go.
So they manage to sneak most of the way in, but unfortunately some alarms do go off, and all the guards come in to start shooting at them. Thankfully, it's by the time that Boba's managed to get onto his ship.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Fennec has to do a little bit of fighting to get them out, and Boba's dealing with the fact that the garage door is still shut.
Yeah.
So Fennec's like, "Look, I'll get the door open. You just worry about the ship."
Yeah.
So Fennec shoots the door open.
Gamorreans, man.
Yeah, a lot of the Gamorreans and a lot of like Weequay die.
Yeah.
And so a lot of pirates. And so Fennec manages to shoot the garage door open, and Boba Fett escapes. And then he's like, "All right, where do you want to go?" And Fennec's like, "You know what? I'm gonna stick around," because by this point they've kind of talked about Boba's plan to a degree, not completely. Like Boba's like, "I'm not gonna be a bounty hunter anymore."
Yeah, he's like, "I'm done with the bounty hunting.
But I'm gonna work for myself.
Care about me.
Yeah, I'm gonna work for myself, and I'm gonna bring some people in on that."
Yeah.
He has not made the offer to her yet, though.
No.
So
because he's like,
he's not sure if she'll take it yet.
yeah, this is like a one and done thing.
So she's like, "Well, you know what? I'll ride with you and just see what happens." So Boba Fett gets his revenge for the Tuskens by killing the biker gang completely. He just wipes them out with the ship.
Yep.
And then they're like, "All right, let's take it somewhere. You know what? Next job, find my armor. I need my armor.
I want that back."
So they go to the Starlight Pit because that's the last place that Boba saw his armor, and tried to do like a little search of the stomach. You know, play a little bit of Surgeon Simulator.
Yeah.
With Slave One. Does not go well.
I think my exact words to you, I was like, "Why the fuck are they getting that close?"
Yeah, at first, because it was after the Nikto were shot up, and then you were like, "What other revenge is he gonna get?" And then he goes up to the next scene is the Starlight Pit, and you started chuckling because you thought at first you thought he was gonna shoot it, but then like he got too close, and then you.
I was like, I'm like, yeah. I was like,
and then I explained it. I was like, "Oh, he's looking for his armor."
And I was like,
that would have been hilarious though. Like he just pulls up on the Starlight and just shoots it.
Done and done.
But no. So obviously they still end up having to kill it though because it tries to eat them from inside the ship.
Like, why did you get that close with your ship, man?
Because you got to get a really good close look of where the armor is.
Like a very close look.
And so Fennec's like, "Well, fuck getting eaten. I'm gonna set off the seismic charge."
Yep.
So the seismic bomb falls in, boom, and Jabba's cell barge goes further into the remnants of it go further into the desert.
Yeah.
And so then Yeah, so
he
Boba's
looks,
bad
and
week
he gets-
continues as he looks and looks, does not find it, and in return just gets scarred
Yeah.
because, stomach acid will do that to you.
Yeah.
And even Finnick's like, that was a terrible
It's
idea.
like, why did I even let you think that was a good idea?
He's like, well, my armor would be fine because it's Beskar. And she's like, yes, the Beskar would be fine, but not you.
And so she's like, great. Now we gotta dip you in Bacta.
Yeah, now you're going to have to be in Bacta for a while to heal up. So, anyways, the events of Season 2... the events of Season 2 of Mandalorian happen.
Mm-hmm.
He gets his armor back through that.
Yeah.
So off-screen, he gets his armor back.
Yep.
And then we see the flashback. We see the flashback for the ending of Season 2, which is how he becomes the new leader. He just walks into Jabba's palace. Bib's like, what are you doing here?
Boba Fett just shoots him.
Like, it's not a friendly greeting. Like, Bib's like, does not want Fett there. But, like, Fett's like, that's okay. And then just drags his body off the seat and just sits there. So, yeah. So, Fett is now the new daimyo of Tatooine.
Yep.
And so that's where we kind of start the present-day events.
Yeah. And so, Boba is like...
Boba is getting
from, like, professional killer to planetary mob boss.
And he has no experience in this.
He has none.
So Finnick is kind of like trying to help him to the best of her ability because she also she's just like, I know how the other bosses have done it and you're doing it wrong based on that. Because so basically we start off with these other smaller officials giving tribute to him because these officials show up and they're like, here's some tribute to you, here's some money. Like the local sub bosses are coming
the
to
captains.
The captains are showing up to be like, here's your tribute. And then the mayor's supposed to show up, but his assistant shows up.
Yeah.
And his assistant is like, oh no, you're supposed to give us the tribute. And Fett's like, wait a minute, I'm the crime boss here. That's not how that works.
And he's like,
look, I'll let you leave alive. That's the tribute.
For daring to try this shit.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, that's fine. Just expect that you'll get another visit from the mayor in some way.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
So he leaves. I kind of like the mayor's majordomo, because he's just foot and mouth.
Yep.
And so he leaves.
It's great.
And so Boba's like, all right, let's go check out all the things I own. And so they go to Mos Espa, and they're like, let's go check out the cantina / casino?
Sanctuary.
Yeah, Sanctuary.
The name of
it. Sanctuary is the name of it. I was just classifying it. And he goes to visit the leader in charge of it, Garsa Fwip, which on the way there, he's walking and
he's recruited the
he's recruited
Gamorreans
he
this month.
recruited 2 Gamorreans who were they were loyal to Bib.
They were loyal to Jabba, they were loyal to Bib, and
he's like, you'll be loyal to me, right? And they're like, yep. And he's like, good enough.
He's like, if I don't kill you.
Yeah, he's like, if I don't kill you, you'll be loyal. And they're like, yep. He's like, good enough.
All right.
So they go to town, visit Garsa Fwip, who full whip, cool whip.
And they're like,
whip or whip? Whip.
The 2 Twi'leks.
Yeah, these 2 Twi'leks are like, we're gonna shine your armor, and on their way in, before they get inside, Finnick's like, you should be writing your little thing that all the crime lords have written,
And
Boba's like, no, I'm not lazy, I'm gonna walk.
It's like, I have legs.
I have legs. Also, I don't really care about the being above everybody thing. Yeah. And she's like, but it's not about that. It's a sign of leadership. And he's like, whatever. So he goes in, and the 2 Twi'leks offer to shine their armor, and of course she's like, nah, and he's like, no, we got to do this, which turns out to be the right thing for him. But Garsa Fwip comes up, and she's like, oh, I didn't see you come in on your little thing. And he's like, litter, thank you, on your litter, and he's like, because I'm not lazy, I'm walking. I'm not lazy. I'm not gonna look like Jabba and Bib. Did you see how they both turned out? They were very lethargic by the end of it.
Didn't work out so well for either of them.
Yeah. Why do you think it was so easy to kill Bib? He couldn't run away.
Oh man. Yeah.
And so they end up, so they talk a little bit
Yeah,
because they're
and
like, okay, so you're the new boss, cool.
Yeah.
Don't trust anybody.
Basically. And they go
And they go outside after getting their helmets back, which
immediately after.
Immediately
don't
after being-
trust anybody. They're like, assassins show up and they're like, "We're here to kill you."
yeah, and so Boba thankfully made a smart investment with the Gamorreans. That immediately gets, that investment immediately turns over.
Yeah.
And they help him barely, like, because he's still weak from going into the Starlight Pit a bunch of times.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I need to go to my Bacta tank because I've been hit a bunch.
Yep.
Also, Finnick, get one of them alive. We need it alive so we can get information.
The Gamorreans may not be the strongest or the best fighters, but they are very loyal.
Damn right. So they managed to bring him back to his Bacta tank while Finnick kills one of them because there's like 2 assassins left at this point.
Like, I only need the one.
Yeah, I only need one of you. So pushes one off a roof and then takes the other.
Yeah.
And so she brings him back to the palace. And
it's time for an interrogation.
Yeah. And they're like, all right, so you're the Abercrombie of assassins.
Basically.
People pay for the name brand. They pay for that little eagle.
Yep. And they're like, the droid they have is like...
I thought I said that on Mando Mondays. But yeah, so they pay for the little eagle. And so they're like, we can get this information out of him. And so the droid is like, we could torture him. And he's like, no, we're not doing that.
Like, I don't torture.
It's like, but I'm a torture droid. That's my whole thing.
It's like, well, you're translating now.
Because we don't have a protocol droid.
Yeah, he's like, I don't intend to rule with fear.
Although then they decide to scare him because they're like, you know what? We'll just feed you to the Rancor.
Yeah, but they're not in charge of him, so I guess it's fine.
Yeah, so they start to threaten that, and they drop him into the Rancor pit. And as they're slowly opening the cage of where the Rancor would be, he's like, "Okay, look, I'm working for the mayor. Okay,
The mayor sent me.
The mayor sent me. Worst. I guess he was not paid that well because that was really quick at giving that up.
And again, I don't feel like fighting a Rancor.
At the same time, like
he
already
know.
At the same time, though, he already saw the rest of his buddies die. So, like, I would think they're fine with dying.
I think they're fine with dying in like not by.
But like in combat, not by being eaten.
Yeah.
So then it opens only to reveal a little mouse because because there's no Rancor. The Rancor died. Luke killed it.
And
Luke and his Chanel boots killed it.
And they're like, it's empty.
Yep.
We just did that to fuck with you.
Yeah, watch out for that. Watch out for that mouse. He'll get you.
Fuck you up.
So yeah, after that,
I think it's time we go to the mayor's office.
It's time to visit the mayor. He still owes me that tribute.
Yeah, and they're like, we'll take this guy with us.
Yeah, so they bring him to the mayor's office where they go into the front desk, which the front desk guy is amazing. The front desk guy is hilarious.
You got an appointment?
You got an appointment? No.
No.
Who are you? You should know who I am. I'm fucking Boba Fett.
And it's like...
He's like, I still don't... Your name's not on the list. And then little Major Domo comes out. And he's like, so you're not on the list. He's like, I got that already. Look, I'm just going in. And he's like, you can't just go... Goes in. And the mayor's like, oh, hi, how's it going? Like, all chalant.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, look, I know you sent an assassin after me. And this guy gave it up. And he's like, an assassin of the Night Winds. Yes, so you admit it. Nope, we're going to kill it. And so, yeah, they kill him.
They're like, the Night Winds are not allowed to outside of Hutt territory.
Which brings up an argument I had on Mando Mondays of, is Tatooine no longer Hutt territory?
I guess not. Because Fett's running it now. And
but like even before that, that implies that like it stopped being Hutt territory for a while.
Well, as soon as Jabba died, it was no longer Hutt territory.
I guess.
Because Bib Fortuna's not a Hutt either.
No, but he
worked for him.
I don't know if he was.
Count.
Yeah, I don't know if he was considered part of the Hutt cartel.
Apparently not.
Which we've read War of the Bounty Hunters. Jabba and like a few others are the only members of the Hutt cartel by the time of this, and also like Jabba's the only seated member.
Yeah.
Because although I guess that's changed because of what happens later. We see some other people, the twins,
I guess,
which we're about to get to.
I guess the twins filled in the vacuum.
I guess. But not on Tatooine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they kill the assassin of the Night Wind, and because Boba is known as a bounty hunter, the mayor's like, "Here's your bounty hunter money," and Boba's like, "I'm offended. Why are you giving me bounty hunter money? I'm the daimyo now," and he's like, "Well, you better watch your back," which is the warning he keeps getting everywhere. Everybody's just like, "Watch your back." It's the one thing that he's not doing though.
Like, actually, as a matter of fact, because I am so confident in myself,
I won't even watch my front.
Get any shittier. I will openly invite you to try me, motherfucker.
Yeah. So the mayor's like, "Look, who else would benefit from trying to kill you?" And so
the answer is everybody.
Yeah, the answer is everybody. But yeah, so he goes back to he goes back to Sanctuary. Because he goes there to question Garza to see if she knows what's going on. And she's like, not really. Like, it could be anybody still. Also, the Hutts are back. Like, she mentions that. She's like, yeah, the twins came back.
Are back.
They're active. And so...
I guess maybe the twins were exiled or some shit?
I think they just were busy doing other Hutt stuff and just didn't care.
Maybe they were partying.
Like,
I think that's actually what it was.
Yeah, they were probably busy partying, and also Bib was probably he was probably paying them still. Yeah. Like, I imagine Bib, like, being Bib, was probably still paying the Hutts off.
Yeah.
Because Bib is a coward. Plain and simple. He's always been a coward. Like, him being daimyo did not make, like, it makes little sense unless he was paying the Hutts to let him be there.
Yeah, and I guess once the money stopped flowing,
yeah, once the tributes stopped coming, the Hutts were like, all right, guess we're coming in.
And they're like,
and that and then we see the second worst animal job in the Star Wars universe. The first worst being the lizard that goes up his nose. The second being that poor sweat rat.
Yeah. Hut sweat. No.
Hut sweat. Nope. And it's a 2-for-1 special because they're connected twins. They're conjoined.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so immediately you hear this little, the music of the Hutts coming in on their litter.
Yep.
And Boba's like, all right, I guess I got to deal with this. Goes outside to see his old rival / business partner, Black Chrysanthemum, or as you were saying, like a lot of people, Black Chrysanthemum, which became Mr. Satan for me when we were watching.
Called him a couple of times.
I didn't know we were watching Dragon Ball. It's Mr. Satan.
I almost called him Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen. That's a good one. But yeah. So yeah, since we watched this together, we were making lots of jokes while watching this. So it became Black Chris Satan, Mr. Satan,
and I guess now Chris Hansen.
And now Chris Hansen.
But
Black Chrysanthemum.
That's another one I thought of.
But yeah, so
and he's like, Chrysanthemum's like, I'm not gonna kill you right now.
Yeah, because I'm being paid to be here. But they haven't paid me to kill you yet, so...
Yeah. So, I guess we're cool for right now.
For now. And
Except Boba's like, I'll talk a little shit.
Yeah, because, I'm still daimyo as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I do not respect the Hutts. So, yeah, he starts shit-talking them, and they're like, once again, better watch your back.
Yeah, and he kind of, like, looks over, and he's like, I'm not a half-asleep Trandoshan guard.
Yeah.
To Chrysanthemum.
Yeah, he disrespects Chrysanthemum. He's like, look, I'm going to call you out on your gladiator days and just be like, you suck.
Basically.
And Chrysanthemum's like, I should kill you for that.
Fuck you up.
But yeah, so later on, during one of the flashbacks, which we just told chronologically because makes sense to tell it chronologically in this case for a review, I guess. Or as the show. Because that was his only real complaint was the...
Yeah. Is this before or after he solves the fucking?
Oh yes. Yes. So we go into the next episode, which is where we meet the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Because basically this guy. So
There's
this guy.
jackass.
Yeah, jackass comes up and is like, "Hey, these kids stole my water."
Yeah. And Boba Fett's like, all right,
I'll
I'll go and sort it out.
Yeah, because he's like, if you're going to get respect, you got to start dealing with the
Yeah.
people's problems. It's basically like being a king. You have people come to your court and say, here's my problem. Do something about it. And as the king, it's kind of your job to do
like,
something about it.
Fine, I'll do it myself since I'm the only one here aside from my
Yeah,
Mandalorian.
because right now I don't have a base of, like, it's not like Jabba yet. He hasn't built up
my like
guards
two
yet.
Gamorreans and my like right-hand assassin lady.
And so, fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
And he goes out to talk to these kids, and these kids are like, look, this...
Yeah, we stole the water. However, before you decide to, like, fucking kill us, here's why. This motherfucker is charging us 1,300 credits.
For, like, only a week's worth of
water.
water. And that's drinking water.
Yeah, just drinking water.
Which, so, like, not bathing, just drinking.
Yeah. And so, I'm like... Man, fuck this guy. The Power Rangers are right.
And they're like, and then they start talking smack to him because they're like, you're the only daimyo that's ever really come out here to actually deal with the problem yourself.
Yeah.
And also, like, even then, you still don't know what's going on out here. You suck.
And they're like...
It's kind of like one of those situations, once again, of being a king where you don't know what's going on with the little people. And so they're like, yeah, you suck as a king. Fuck you.
And he's like, all right. And the bad guy.
Oh.
Jackass number 3, we'll call him that.
Oh, water merchant?
Water merchant. Is like, but
I asked you to deal with them. And he's like,
fucking 1,300 credits?
I'll pay you like half of that. Not
I'll
even
pay
a
you
third.
500.
Yeah. He's like, it's what it's actually worth.
Yeah. And they're like...
And, of course, are you going to tell Boba Fett no? Are you going to be like, no, I want more money? That's how you get shot.
Yeah, he's like... It's great. And the Power Rangers are like, thanks, but that's not
the point.
It's not really going to help too much.
Yeah, like, he's still going to keep doing it.
And he's like, how would you guys like a job?
They're
and
like, I guess.
Sure?
Because Boba's like, I need more than just Finnick and a robot.
A robot and 2 Gamorreans.
Yeah. So, a robot that's a torture droid that doesn't torture and can't translate either.
And so they go and they're like, sure?
Yeah. So they go ahead and they... So the Power Rangers are watching over him as he takes a nap in the back to tank.
Their actual name is the Mods.
The Mods. Yeah, they're the Mods. I think they're okay. I think there's an aesthetic problem.
They're teens with attitude.
But I think but like there's an aesthetic problem. Like I'm fine with the Vespas because like there's different types of vehicles in Star Wars. There's gonna be Vespas. Fine.
Oh, that's your issue with it?
No, the problem is the paint job.
Oh, right.
I don't mind that they paint it, but make it a little more scratchy looking on the paint. You're on Tatooine. And I'm fine with the mod, like them being like having all the modifications, because Darth Vader's a mod.
That's fine.
Darth Vader's a mod.
Well, he's not by choice. These
kids, but it's kind of like a kid that gets a tattoo to get back at mom and dad.
I don't see it that way. You know my feelings about like cybernetics.
Yeah, but you're not a fan of doing them by choice. But like
I'm a fan of doing them by necessity.
Yeah, so Finnick is fine, and Luke and Vader are fine, but
people who need it to like if your arm gets
or Valence, for example, also. Yeah. Or Valence, rather.
Valence is the most extreme case.
Yeah, where, like, only his heart. Which, by the end of War of the Bounty Hunters, not even his heart.
Yeah. But I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, anyways. It's not a deal breaker.
Like,
you're not going to hate them for it.
Use them like service or
you're not going to hate them for it, but you're just not... you're not a fan of their choice.
That's not what I would do, but...
But maybe it's also a survival thing, too.
Maybe, yeah, because it does help them.
Yeah. So, anyways, he gets woken up from his little dream by Mr. Satan.
Yeah. fucking black chrysanthemum over there.
Yep, he grabs him from his thing and just immediately starts beating the crap out of him.
He is the closest motherfucker who actually almost succeeds.
I think it also has to do with the fact that he's a gladiator and he's really good at like that type of close combat. Whereas Boba Fett's more of he needs his tech. He needs his armor and his gear.
Like, if he just hadn't...
Boba's not great without his armor when it comes to like doing like fighting.
If Chrysanthemum had just like shot him while he was in the bacta tank.
But that's also not the way Chrysanthemum would go for it.
Yeah. Character-wise, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But he does come the closest by far.
So then the mods come in to save the day.
Yeah.
Him and the Boa and the mods manage to get Chrysanthemum backed up onto the Rancor pit.
Yeah.
And they drop him in.
Yep.
And along with Fennec. And so the next day, the Hutts come by. They're like, "Look, we're sorry, we tried, but also now we're out because we've heard that the Pikes are involved. Fuck that shit.
Like, we're not getting involved with that.
You can have Tatooine."
And Boba's like, "All right.
Well, you owe me money for all that." And they're like,
money.
well, you can keep Chrysanthemum. Also, here's a gift: a Rancor and a Danny Trejo.
Yep. And he's like,
"Well, I don't want Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum, you're free. Get out of here.
Go.
Because I don't have slaves. That's not how I operate."
Yeah. Ignore the name of my ship.
Yeah, ignore the nickname of my ship.
I didn't name it.
My dad did. So they
he's like, "Time for me to bond with a Rancor." And
yeah.
I didn't think he would like animals that much, but
Bubba's a friend of the animals.
Soft on the
it's
animals.
also interesting. So I was gonna bring this up, but it's interesting that Rancors are pugs, or not, are bulldogs. Essentially, Rancors are bulldogs.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Like everybody thinks that they're mean and vicious and killers because bulldog. They have this bad reputation because of bad owners.
Yeah.
Same thing with Rancors, it turns out. And it's even more interesting because Danny Trejo is in the show, and he's actually known for being a very public activist about being
Don't be mean to
he's
your pets.
specifically those type of he specifically adopts pit bulls all the time, and Danny Trejo's known for donating money to organizations that are pro helping pit bulls out of these fighting organizations.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, dog fighting. So it's interesting seeing him in this same kind of in this role as oh yeah, here's my pit bull essentially.
He's like, by the way, they're not.
They're really loyal.
They're really loyal, and
and they only fight if you train them to.
Yeah, and Boba's like, I didn't know that.
Cool. Also, I hear this really cool story from you about how the Night Sisters of Dathomir rode Rancors. I want to do that.
That sounds awesome. And I can't go get my Bantha back because she's off having
Bantha babies.
Bantha babies, like I told her to.
Yeah, because I told her to go make Bantha babies.
Because 3 of them are fucking dead.
Yeah, there's 3 dead Banthas on the Bantha kill count, so we need more Banthas.
More of them.
So then the droid has Boba get called away.
Yeah.
Because they're like, "Oh, hey, the mayor has managed to make an appointment for you, so you need to go see the mayor."
Yeah.
So he goes off to meet the mayor. Turns out the mayor is not there.
He's taking an extended leave of absence.
Yeah, going on a planned vacation, so to speak. To get a little political, he's pulling a Ted Cruz, if you will.
I'm just gonna leave. See my way out.
Yeah.
Before everything goes wrong.
I'm leaving Tatooine before it gets frozen over. And so
you guys can handle this, right?
Yeah, you got this. And so
I was like, man.
So then,
if I see him, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah. So Boba is like, "No, you're gonna let me see him," and the major domo's like, "No, you can't go in this time. This time they have to break the door open."
They're just
and so they go in, and he's gone.
Yeah.
And then the major domo's like, "Time to run away," and I'm gonna do a Back to the Future car chase. So he gets into his speeder. It's honestly, it is a slow chase scene. That is a valid complaint in my opinion of the chase scene. I think the chase it's fun but slow.
Yeah.
My problem is it's slow.
It's a go-kart race.
It's a go-kart race. There we go.
If they catch them,
they
win.
Well, unfortunately nobody has a blue shell, so So we get the mods chasing after him. We get every single trope to a chase scene ever.
Yep.
Uh,
I'm like,
they break.
did you assholes really have to crash through the food market?
Yeah,
What did the
yes.
flea market do to you?
And also, we had to crash into a painting
Mhm.
because you always have to crash into
Yep.
a painting, and then you got to crash into another vehicle at some point.
Yep.
Which that droid was dumb. That droid saw what was coming. That droid's like, oh, I see the Major Domo trying to tell me not to get in the way. I'm gonna try to cross the street before he gets here, and then get my patrons hit
Maybe
by the
just
car.
Tried reversing.
Yeah, no. And so the Major Domo then crashes. Unfortunately, it's not into Bantha Poodoo, which would have made this the ultimate, like, Back to the Future chase scene. Should have been in Bantha, a pile of Bantha Poodoo.
Plenty of oranges, I guess.
Yeah, plenty. Melu runs.
There we go.
Yeah, the Melu runs.
He's like, we're not gonna kill you.
Yeah, we just need information.
We just want to talk.
And so yeah, and of course he's even worse than the Nightwind assassins. He gives up so easily.
I'm like, come on, dude.
So yeah, they get plenty of information out of him.
Like, it's not even that. My agitation with him started when he first started talking.
Because he has this air of, there's an air about him that's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're that guy, which gets confirmed later.
But it's fine. He serves his purpose.
Yeah. So let's see what. At this point, then they get confirmation that yes, the Pikes are back on Tatooine again.
Mm-hmm. They're not supposed to be here.
Not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here.
But they're like, it's not Hutt territory, so they're moving in anyway.
So at this point, Fennec's like, all right, well, we need to hire more muscle because we do not like.
Who can we get?
We do not have muscle. We've got some muscle, but not enough. Oh, we skipped something important. Going back to Sanctuary one more time before Fennec suggests hiring muscle. Because Boba decides to go to Sanctuary where we see an angry chrysanthemum.
Yep.
A chrysanthemum. He's angry. Like, he's pouting because he's like, I got no job. I got betrayed by the Hutts because they basically tried to sell me into slavery.
Man, this sucks.
Yeah, they basically tried to sell me into slavery to Boba.
Rodian.
No, Trandoshans. Yeah, it's important that they're Trandoshans.
Oh yeah, actually, I forgot about that.
So he sees these Trandoshans, which one Wookiees don't like Trandoshans. And
I sense there's some bad blood there.
Yeah, Trandoshans are known to hunt Wookiees.
Well, they're one of the few people that could pull it off.
So yeah, so he's angry. He's angry about, like, basically he decides, like, I don't like Trandoshan, so I'm gonna take my anger that I already have about everything else out on this.
It's one of those, like, man,
you're not the reason I'm angry, but you're good enough of a reason for me to
good enough excuse.
Yeah,
and my life is pretty bad right now.
So he beats the shit out of these Trandoshans, and then he grabs one of them basically by the throat. Oh no, by his arms. He grabs him by his arms, and he lifts him up. And this is when Garsa's like, "Whoa! Hey, like, you're a badass. We get it. We know who you are.
I will pay off your current debt.
Yeah, you owe me so much money.
If you let him go."
And Boba's just watching this, like, we'll see how this goes.
If you let him go,
I'll just wipe I'll wipe your debt free. It's like basically getting your bar tab paid off for free. Imagine if you were Norm from Cheers. Like, that'd be your best day ever.
Yeah.
But no, not enough for Chrysanthemum. He rips one of the arms off of that Trandoshan, which, good thing it's a Trandoshan.
Yep.
And so then Chrysanthemum leaves. He's like, I'm angry.
I'm still pissed off.
And Boba's like, well, you know what? That was a good attempt.
He's like, nice try.
Yeah, but, I mean, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
Angry Wookiee. It's like Han said, you don't make a Wookiee angry.
Piss off Wookiees ever.
Yeah, they'll rip your arms out of their sockets.
Yeah.
And we have now seen it.
They'll do it.
So Boba goes outside, and he's like, hey, Chrysanthemum, how would you like a job?
And Chrysanthemum's like, really?
Really? After all that?
And he's like,
yeah, I need muscle.
Just business, man.
Just business. Look, I get it. I'm a businessman myself. Like, I don't consider any killing on the job as personal.
Yeah.
Like, Boba never takes that stuff personal. He's like, it's on the job. Yeah, it's like you said, like, he's all about the job. So,
Yeah.
like,
The job comes first.
yeah. So, he's like,
I guess the current job is crime lord with some standards.
crime lord with some standards. Unfortunately, those standards are the reason he keeps getting stabbed in the back.
Yeah.
But he's trying. He's really trying. And so then we get to
his methods do show their results.
There are results. Like, he's getting the faith of the people that aren't like crime lords.
Yeah.
Like, anybody that's part of the criminal side of of Tatooine do not respect him at all. But he's getting the respect of the common people, which is important.
Yeah. It's a case of, since I am the new crime lord, I'm just gonna do all my shit in broad daylight, and anyone who ever steps to me will now not only have to deal with me
Yeah.
and my gang,
Yeah.
they will deal with the city itself.
It's the difference between being a Corleone from The Godfather and the other, I forget the other family, the one that's like, we're going to do all the drugs and sell all the drugs. Yeah, thank you. Say it again. Tatalia. Yeah. Yeah. So it's the difference between being a Tatalia and a Corleone. He's trying the Corleone method, and we've seen in The Godfather that it doesn't always work, but he's trying.
Yeah.
Because
now that I think about it, it's also the same method Pants uses.
Oh yeah, in our Star Wars game, yeah. Pants,
like, he always gives people the option.
Yeah.
And none of them fucking backstab
his
him.
character in my Star Wars game. That's a nickname. The long name is Pantaleimon, but we've nicknamed him Pants because
Like, it inspires a lot of loyalty, and for some reason, it keeps happening.
Yeah. So that's what Boba's going with.
Yeah, that's his method, and it usually works because when you're not a scumbag,
it works long term.
Yeah,
it's very long term plan. It's not. It's definitely short term. It's not
gonna reward you a lot. It does in the long term, though.
Yeah. So Finnick now is like, okay, we've got one person to help us.
Yep.
We need way more.
Another one.
And so he's like, all right, well, good thing I've saved up all my money.
Yeah.
Especially since I've been working on Slave One myself. I don't trust people to work on my ship.
Here comes.
So here comes now we take a very hard left on the show.
Here comes the 2.5.
And this is the part where you either really like what they did or you hate it. Or you're in the middle. There's some people in the middle, but the majority of what I hear is either you really like what happened or you really don't.
I take it as it is. And that is a hard thing to do.
Yeah, well, also, there's even less context for you because you haven't watched The Mandalorian.
All I know is that they won't let him see his fucking kid.
Yeah. Yeah, so okay, so we get to the Mandalorian episode, which is Mando is now like, he's got his Darksaber now. He's like, look, I need more info on like finding my people because I need to find the rest of the my cult.
Yeah.
My cult, not a cult. Where'd my cult go? So in order to get info on his cult and also to get some money for a ship, because he's gotten word that there's a ship waiting for him.
I assume his other ship has been broken.
His other ship has been, yes, Razor Crest. The Razor Crest was destroyed. Razor Crest has gone through some. It has seen better days.
Because he had to buy a new ship, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's seen some better days. It has not seen worse days, that's for sure. So in order to get some money and to also, get some information, he goes on a job to capture a dog person.
Get some Clatoonians.
Yeah, the Clatoonians.
Clatoonians like bounty. And he's like, I'm gonna give you the option.
The option he gives every bounty.
Come in alive and not on a frozen block or dead. I guess it's now alive or dead.
Yeah. Yeah. And because the Clatoonians like, man, you're racist assuming that it's me. And he's like, I've got a picture. Look, I've got your tracker that tells me it's you, and I've also got the wanted poster with your face. And he's like, it doesn't look like me. It's like, yeah, okay. Well, look. And he's like, look, I'm going to give you some options. He's like, no, I'm going to give you options. And there's two. And there's two. And, of course, every freaking time. every freaking time. You would think somebody would be like, you know what? No, just take me alive because I don't want to die. But no, every time.
Fine.
Yep.
Fine. We're doing it this way.
So yeah, so we see Mando try to deal with his Darksaber, which nope, he has not been trained in it yet, and we see that. We also see what happens when it's one of those things of he hasn't been trained in it and he's not a Force user, and that kind of leads credence to the argument of Force users are just innately better with lightsaber type weapons. There is other content to show like training, which you have not seen. Rebels.
Yeah, I haven't. The thing that confuses
Rebels shows the importance of training with the Darksaber.
The thing that confuses me.
I'll give you that. I'll give you Rebels.
As I understand it, the difficulty of using a lightsaber shouldn't be that it's heavy. It should be the exact opposite.
It's right? So the reason for the heaviness, and it's something that the armor explains, is it has to do with the emotions that he's carrying with him. It's his weight.
It's not.
He's bringing his emotional weight, not his.
It's not an actual.
Not his literal weight. Oh, thank you. Was that peaking? Oh, okay. So we have I guess we're having our first guest of first guest of the show, which it's funny because the next week we're having our second guest.
Hello.
Yeah, I turned it off. Yeah. You'll have to. It's the fourth one.
Like.
There we go. Hey, I'm on.
Yeah. So yeah.
Actually, I'm not really a guest. I'm more of a voice because you can't see me. I am the Force.
Yeah. So is that what we're just gonna call you?
I'm just the Force.
Okay. So the Force has entered the chat. But yeah. So basically, it has to do more with the spiritual weight, not the literal weight.
And because of, I assume, and it is explained later, how he's broken some of the cultural rules.
So Lucas always wanted lightsabers to think of lightsabers as a jet engine.
Yep.
So you have a jet engine, and flame and thrust comes out of it, and that's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
That's a lightsaber. And so the Force allows you to wield that as it was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more connected to the Force you are, the easier it is. The problem with Din Djarin is, he's Mandalorian. He has no idea what the Force is. And so, and while the Force flows through all creatures, living things, all things.
Yeah.
Yoda even says the rock that they keep forgetting about in these shows. But because of, he's got to be in tune with himself before he can be in tune with the Darksaber.
Yeah. So he has to fix his emotional issues before he can, and we kind of get some of that. We get some of that resolution later in the show. So basically, he brings the dead head to the lady that hired him, and the lady wants to like,
bird lady.
Yeah, another bird lady. The bird wants to hang out with him.
Bird ladies in Star Wars.
The bird wants to hang out and like have dinner with him. And he's like, no, I'm purely business. I'm like basically Boba Fett and him have that in common.
They're like
business first. We don't care.
I want to do my job. I don't want to hang out with you, you fucking weirdo.
So either give me the information I want, or I'm gonna take this somewhere else where somebody's gonna pay me more.
And like, I get it. I respect it.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, fine. Here's where you can find your little cult.
Thanks. A little elevator scene.
Like, yeah, the elevator scene when he's going up to her is great.
The only thing it's missing is the girl from Ipanema playing. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum,
yeah, just get some elevator music and yeah.
It's like, what do you do when a motherfucker walks in with a head in a bag to the elevator? You're gonna wait till the next floor, right?
Well, you can't really tell. He doesn't know it's a head in the bag. I was like,
no.
I'd be like,
it is dripping.
Hey, are you going space bowling?
Oh no, it's not dripping though, because cauterization.
Yeah, lightsabers, you cauterize it. Doesn't
it's the same reason why he has a burnt leg rather than a bleeding leg.
Okay, not dripping. Correction, oozing.
Oh, I bet
burns ooze. Oh, I don't know if you've ever burned your leg.
Yeah,
I got you beat. It probably smells funky.
Yeah, it probably smells.
It definitely
smells.
Like
that guy's probably like, barbecue?
Barbecue?
I'm not gonna ask any questions.
Yeah, like you see a guy with a Mandalorian armor. I probably wouldn't either. Anyways,
arm to the teeth. Don't ask questions.
Yeah, arm to the teeth.
Just let him go.
Yeah. So, anyways, he finds his cult,
Yep. And
he's like, hey, how's it going? I'm back. Also, my leg hurts like hell. They're like, what'd you do? You pull your ankle or something? And he's like, nope, I cut myself with this.
Mom, I stabbed myself.
Wasn't my fault.
and
Jimmy did it. It wasn't me, man.
Jimmy did.
I stabbed myself with a sword.
And so he presents the weapon, which I think that's the dumbest decision he's made. And of course the armor's like, oh, I recognize this, and so does Paz, because he's a Vizsla, and you never trust a Vizsla.
She knows it because she was there.
Yeah, she was there.
She was there. She saw Maul have it.
Yeah. Yeah, we have
I know who you are, Rook.
we have theories on that. It's
I know
Rook.
who you are, Rook.
This fucking sword.
So this sword has some history. So it was built by the first ever Mandalorian Jedi, who basically also became the first Mandalore, kind of. Like they hint at that, but they never like say that.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was one of the early. It's also the first member of first leaders of House Vizsla. That is confirmed.
Yeah, but I don't think he used it as a veil of leadership or anything, because the Mandalores steal it after his death.
Yeah,
because it's kept in the Jedi Temple, so they raid the Jedi Temple and they steal it.
Yeah,
and then after it becomes this symbol.
It becomes a symbol of leadership afterwards, after the fact. And so basically, the cult is like, "Hey, we got all these rules about this sword."
Of course, this is all according to Finn Rao, and who knows?
Yeah, this is all according to and also this information of like the rules behind the sword are from the armorer's perspective, and she's a cult leader, so take it with a grain of salt. And she's like, "Yeah, don't trust that Bo-Katan bitch. She messed us up by taking the sword without earning it in combat."
Oh yeah, here's the thing. Here is where my rant begins.
Oh yeah, this is where your rant on Mandalorian culture begins.
If you have a relic that determines leadership and worthiness that is essentially sentient, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah,
as cool as it is,
because it is technically sentient in a way, because it has a kyber crystal in it, which makes it sentient by default.
Yeah, it also can sense the user's emotions.
Yeah, well, kyber crystals are also just it's canon. They're sentient to a degree. That's how they connect to the Force user.
I do like it. I do think that's cool, but that does present problems.
Yeah. So, and then also you have...
it only presents problems because I listened to the show, I guess last week or the week before last, when you were talking about droids.
Oh yeah, his rant on droids.
And so
I was wrong about that.
I think you lean toward the same kind of sentiment. The problem with us looking at Star Wars is because it's written by human beings, and we have to look at through human beings' eyes. Sentience can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different cultures, and so even among the kyber crystals, if they have a culture or if they're sentient enough to have culture, we don't know if they're just cool with it.
Yeah,
this is like they understand their place in the universe, and that's what they do. So they're happy with that. That's the problem. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah. And it's just, I mean, and so unfortunately, it's also like a 50-50 coin flip.
The Force, I should know that, but I don't have all the answers.
It's also a 50-50 coin flip on if whoever has the sword is worthy.
Yeah.
Because
that's the other thing. I'm like, if you keep having leaders that are jackasses.
Yeah, which the last person to Bo-Katan's the last person to officially own that's a. Actually, yeah, she's the last one to officially be a Mandalorian that had the and she didn't follow the rules because she was given it by the last person who earned it, because the last person to earn it was Sabine in Rebels, but she gave it to Bo-Katan, and so to the armorer's perspective and to the perspective of a lot of Mandalorians,
that would not.
She did not earn it.
She didn't earn it.
And a lot of it comes retrospectively as well.
So the monkey wrench is that I think they were all cool with her having it
until the Night of 1,000 Tears.
And then they're like, "Oh, we need to blame something. Let's blame her."
It works on the same principle as like the divine right of kings. It's like, until you fuck up, you're in charge, and once you fuck up,
we find an excuse for why.
We find an excuse to get rid of you.
Right.
And that's an issue that I have issue with that.
And since we're following
since
we're following the armorer's cult perspective, we're getting her ideas, but how reliable of a narrator is this?
I'm like, I don't trust you. Because I don't trust people who don't show their face.
And that's their number one rule.
Their number one rule is don't show your face.
I trust the Tuskens.
No, I don't trust them either.
To a degree, I trust the ones that were hanging with Boba Fett.
Well, they're gone now.
Assumably.
That's a sad and brutal fact.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyways, so Paz gets this so anyways, Armor hold on before we get to that. Armor's like, "Okay, well I'm going to train you in this.
Yeah,
also,
so-
what's with that spear you got? Where'd you get that?"
Oh, yeah. She's like, we don't use Beskar for
Weapons, cuz you can use that to pierce Beskar armor.
And then the very next scene, she uses to train the Darksaber with her own hammer.
Yeah, with her hammer,
Or
which
her Beskar hammer.
I assume
Which
that's
I'm like, also could be a weapon.
yeah. Technically, anything could be a weapon.
Right. I'd be like, oh, this is my Beskar fishing pole. I just try to catch a fish lady. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's like, I use the spear to fish.
where do you think
don't
get
you know
pikes?
don't you know older cultures that just spear for fishing? I mean, so this is my fishing tool. But no. So anyway, she asks him. She's
My
like, "Hey,
dick measuring stick, bitch."
yeah." So she says, "Hey, look, you can't have that. What are you gonna do with it?" He's like,
he's
"Okay,
like-
make some armor out of it for a foundling." She's like, "All right, that's the way we make stuff for foundlings." And he's like, "But a specific foundling for Grogu."
It's like, I need it for my son.
Yeah, I need to bring a gift to my son because mom won't let me contact him.
And it's like,
And I haven't been paying the residuals over
yeah,
to
so
like.
I need to go and do this. I need to take care of something.
Yeah, I haven't been paying my child support.
But before I leave, the lesson with the Darksaber.
Yeah,
takes
so
place.
lesson with Darksaber takes place. She trains him, and we get some Mandalorian. That's actually Mandoa. She's counting. She's actually counting in Mandoa. During that. And
Thank you, the bounty hunters. The
Bounty Hunters
guide.
files. Yeah, Bounty Hunters guide, and also thank you, Karen Travis, for almost making Mandoa an actual official language.
Just going. For
Almost. We had almost enough words to create a language.
You have people in chatting.
Oh no, this one's not live.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah, this is our pre-record because
I got you.
next week Pensacon.
I got you.
It's great. And here comes. So they get done with their little training, and Mr. Vizsla decides, it's a great thing to do right now.
Challenge you because I see you suck at it.
Yeah, he's like, I think I can take him.
Yeah, I think I could take him. Also, I'm a Vizsla. It's my right.
Yeah.
So do you think the moment he saw that saber, he was all like, "I'm going to take that guy down"?
Oh, absolutely. He became Gollum the moment he saw that.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think he was like, I could, but if I'm right about this, and seeing how he's already wounded himself, I want to make sure that he's actually bad at this.
But you think that? Do you think that he wanted the sword immediately upon seeing it
Yes.
though? Yes.
But he didn't know if he could actually take it, which is why he waited until.
Yeah, he waited to see that
to see if he could.
that
Actually,
Din was terrible with it.
and he was like, I actually have a chance. And then that is immediately disproven.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because like Din's like, I don't need it.
Because he's like, I guess I'm the king. We have this.
Yeah, so hold on. So before we get there, so he fights him. Also, they're like, I guess it's a fight to the death, but it's
Yeah.
not because they take their jetpacks off. But then I think the armorer cheated.
In what regard?
She ended the fight too soon. Because every other time that we've seen, and you haven't seen it, but every other time we've seen a fight, and I brought this up in Mando Mondays, every time we've seen a fight for the Darksaber, it ends from one of the challengers giving up, more times than not, or the death of one of the challengers.
Mm.
Never from somebody else interfering and calling the end of the fight.
Except in Rebels.
Well, even in Rebels, like it's because
Rebels, it ends with Sabine nearly killing Gar Saxon, and then she says the time for killing is over.
yeah,
And so she defeats him. Everyone accepts the fact that she defeated him. I think then she'd have got the Darksaber anyway.
yeah.
And then it's her mom who ends up killing Gar Saxon, who tries to shoot her in the back.
Yeah, which I count that still within the same vein of though, like nobody else interfered until
But her mom totally interfered.
I call it though that the fight was over once Gar Saxon lost, even though he didn't surrender.
All right.
I call the fight over at that point.
So about the
But
the
she
thing with
yeah
the jetpacks.
yeah.
Here's what I saw that as.
Also, Star
based
Wars
on-
beat you, Halo. Paramount Plus, Star Wars beat you.
Based on where they are fighting, the way that I saw it was, once the jetpacks are off, there's no running away.
Yep,
There's no running away.
you got to fight.
It's fight time. I'm like, okay, they're going. And while I believe he does get the Darksaber. Mando doesn't need it.
Yeah, because Vizsla manages to pick it up and start slashing at him with it, but
It's too heavy for
it's
him.
too heavy for him as well.
Yeah.
You can see that he's struggling with it too, and Din manages to get a vibro knife and stab him. Stabby
He
stab.
has him in the I can kill you right now, right here.
And that's when the armor is like, nope, it's over. And then the armor, because she knows, she knew before she asked the question.
Yeah.
It was to get into his head and to basically make this fight. I think it was to make the fight illegitimate. And so she's like, all right, it's cult question time.
Yeah.
Have you shown your face? And Vizsla's like, nope, never. All right, what about you? And he hesitates, and she's like, you gotta answer the question. That's the rules.
Yep. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, my whole
That's where a lot of your rant came from.
So it's like, okay. And he's like, how do I atone for this? And they're like, well, you're no longer a Mandalorian.
But you can atone for this by going to our planet.
By going to our planet where everything is dead and taking a bath. Also, you're still the king because I guess you kicked that guy's ass hard enough
that you still keep the sword. So you're still the king of the Mandalorians without being a Mandalorian.
Yeah. And that's happened before.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Darth Maul took it, but no, he never claimed to be like Mandalore.
Yeah.
Same thing with Grand Moff Gideon having it. He never claimed to be like in charge of the Mandalorians.
Yeah,
he just
but because of their stupid rules, they were probably.
Yeah, but Maul did declare himself.
Yeah,
ruler of the Mandalorians.
But he never claimed like Mandalore though. Like
no, because he's not Mandalorian, but.
So like it's different. Like you know what I mean?
So he picks up the magic sword, and the solution is, go take a bath. Go take a bath. On a planet that may or may not exist.
Well, it's still around. I
assume it's still around.
No,
I don't know the.
He's got to go to the mines. He's got to go to the mines of Mandalore.
But to get into the water, so
get into the water and to fight a mythosaur.
Yeah. Well, they don't. They mentioned that it's mostly though getting into the water, in the mines to basically cleanse yourself of your sin.
You got to be baptized.
Yeah.
And
so to speak. Yeah.
Great. You're still the king. Even though you're not technically a citizen anymore.
Okay, but
they don't respect him.
They don't respect him anymore.
But to add to ease your confusion, there's only two of those guys.
Yeah, there's a lot others that disagree with. There's a lot others that disagree with them.
Those two guys are like, you're out of this little club.
Yeah, they basically.
And he's like, I really want to be in this club for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason I want to be in the cult.
Really want to be in this cult. They're like, well, no, you can't. There's only two of us. And so, and then the fact that so
also worst cult
ever. He's currently holding the Darksaber, which can lead to him leading the Mandalorians. He's not their king yet, so he still has to earn their respect. He has got to want it. I don't think he wants it.
No.
No, he clearly doesn't.
So I think
he tried to give it up immediately.
He's like, y'all, I just want the baby. What you here? Take this.
Yeah, it's like, I don't need this thing, but I don't know. I assume they say Gideon's standing trial because Gideon's
because Gideon got arrested. Yep.
Oh, my money's that Gideon's getting out.
Yeah, Gideon's gonna get out.
Is. I don't.
Oh, that's the other person I'm excited to see at Pensacon.
Gus Fring.
Yeah.
Juan Carlo's gonna be there.
Which I'm upset. It's another reason I'm upset that Disney does not do more physical media because I want him to sign like copies of Mandalorian. Like I would like to have Blu-rays of it and be like, sign my copy of Mandalorian. But no, I just got to get a photo, which is fine. I'll be fine with a photo, but still.
I'm getting an action figure signed for the shop.
Action figure would be nice.
And I'm getting a CCG card I made.
Yeah. And then I mentioned it earlier, but Matt Lancer's going to be there, so I'm going to get Clone Wars signed by him since it's already signed by Ashley.
Nice. I've got I had forgotten I had it in the shop, but I had a 6-inch Clone Wars Anakin figure that they did last year. And I forgot I had one. I saw it on the shelf. I was like, oh, that's going with me.
Yep, that's going for the Matt Lancer autographs.
But I've also got a Matt Lancer card I made for Mandalorian when he was.
When he played his guard character,
the rebel prisoner guy,
which is his name, but they changed the letters around.
It's
I forget the term for it.
Dak something.
Yeah.
I have to look it up.
Which
It's real short.
off screen, I got to talk about Midnight Horizon about a character because they did the same thing. Crash's actual name is actually based on Alyssa Wong, the writer of the Afro comics. Anyways, so yes, so he's like, all right, well, I guess I'm not a Mandalorian anymore. Thanks for the armor that you made for my baby.
Yeah.
For my son,
Gonna go
and also
deliver
thanks for
that.
gift wrapping it. Yeah, thanks for gift wrapping it so nicely too. Like it looks like his head. Like it's a little.
Man, she got skills. Like if this cult thing doesn't work out, she's like Life Day. She's got a whole bunch of hoping a whole booth of like gift wrapping for Life Day.
Go work for like a restaurant. Start like doing like the little swans packaging,
or hotels. You can do it with the towels.
We have this really skilled rapper in the back, but she comes to work in full battle armor. It's kind of weird.
She's really good though.
Yeah, she's really good.
Just don't ask her any questions.
Don't ask questions about her culture. Tip her well, and you'll be fine.
Yep.
Right.
Anyways, so yeah,
this is for the foundlings. Thank you.
Yeah,
yeah, whatever, lady.
So Mando decides, well, I don't have the Razor Crest. I don't have my new ship yet, so I'm going to take public transport. Which, okay, so the fact that he's upset about having to put up his weapons. This can't be his first time taking public transport. He had to get here somehow.
Did he hitchhike?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Star Wars Galaxy? Because, like, he had to get here somehow.
Maybe Fett dropped him off.
Yeah.
Or Bo-Katan, because they took.
Yeah, because he was with Bo-Katan for a bit.
Because they took that cruiser. So
yeah. So I guess maybe this is his first time on public transport.
He's like,
then we get a Tarantino moment in a Rodriguez show.
Put all the guns in the box that I have on me.
And I didn't realize until rewatching it with Seth that the music they play is so Tarantino when he's putting the stuff in.
So my question about that whole scene is the Darksaber sacred or not? Because he just chunks it in there. And like the whole time I'm expecting someone gonna take the Darksaber and that's how he's gonna lose it. Nope.
Nope. Pretty secure that TSA droid.
Right? That TSA droid's got on lock.
By the way, it doesn't look like an actual lock or anything. It looks like one of the little toolbox things that you could flip up.
Right.
Yeah.
How good is the TSA fucking security in Star Wars?
It's very pleasant droids too.
Apparently.
And I was like, hey, it's my religion. And the droid's like, well, I can get my manager.
Yeah. And he's like,
Space Karen.
And he's like, well, I'm not a Karen, so I don't need your manager. I'll just go with it.
Fine, I'll put the gun.
I'll put my gun, my bandolier, my.
Actually, you know what? If I was working at security or some shit, and I opened a box and saw that, nope, I don't need to ask no questions. Whatever this is, I am.
Well, I don't know. Have you flown? Do you fly?
Yes, actually, I've been stopped by the TSA 4 times.
I've had lots. I have lots of times where I'll get to my hotel or wherever I'm going to open my baggage, and you'll get that slip that says, "Hey, your bag has been gone through by the TSA."
Yeah, because they wanted to make sure.
Nope. They never went through my bags. Actually, no, they did.
Yeah.
They would just stop me in the middle.
Yeah.
Single me out.
And so, but yeah, so he gets on, and of course, it's nice to see that no matter what universe you're in, kids on airplanes are the same.
Thankfully, this wasn't an irritating kid like kicking the back of the
She
seat.
was cute.
Yeah, just curious. Just curious. They're like, "Oh, who are you?"
Hey, look, there's a shiny man behind us.
Also, I'm surprised that TSA droid did not that the TSA droid allowed that jetpack on, because jetpacks can be weapons.
Oh, well.
He is in full plate armor. He's a walking weapon.
But yeah, like take my guns, take my lightsaber, but don't take my jetpack, which is basically a flamethrower.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got like metal punching gauntlets and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I think they draw the line where it's like an obvious weapon.
Yeah. Anyway, so he gets on. They fly to Tatooine, and I guess the Rodian kid is on like a layover.
Yeah.
Tatooine is the JFK of Star Wars.
it's the Atlanta.
Or Atlanta, even.
Yeah.
Like, nobody goes there to go there. That's just your pit stop.
Yeah. You need a
good layover, go to Tatooine.
Yep. All right. He goes. Oh, I
So
have something mean to say about the mechanic lady.
Oh, don't worry. A lot of people don't like the mechanic lady, so
No.
you're in good.
It's not that I think she's a bad character or anything. It was I thought about it and I was trying to describe like how she looked to Andrew and I'm like, you ever seen a meth head in Star Wars before?
No.
But that's too mean, but it's the closest thing I can think of.
She looks to me like your grandma who's trying to cosplay Ripley from Aliens.
Yeah, actually that fits.
Yeah.
Yeah, look,
A
Meemaw,
lot better.
Meemaw gonna fight some aliens.
It's okay. We got Gramps in the show later.
Right. Like, but Meemaw's gonna go fight some aliens, right? That she's
Yeah.
like, but she's like, I really want to look
Or-
like Ripley.
Or as one of my friends calls that character later, Peepaw. Because you know you got Meemaw and Peepaw.
Who we call him Peepaw in this show?
Cad. Cad is a Peepaw.
My blue Peepaw.
My blue Peepaw.
But yeah. he's
So
like-
yeah, Mando shows
I
up.
hope he's got grandkids, and I hope they call him Peepaw. Hell, this is gonna come up on Mando Monday, I think.
Bane
Perfect.
Legacy.
So yeah, the Bane Legacy. Yeah. Oh, that's a good nickname, the Bane Legacy.
Have you seen the YouTube? I know I'm skipping. Way
No, it's
ahead.
fine.
I'm skipping way
Nah,
ahead
it's
to the end of
alright.
this episode.
It's fine.
But have you seen the YouTube video of the Cad Bane Cobb Vanth scene? But he's voiced by Bane
Oh yeah.
from Dark Knight.
Yeah, it's so good. I gotta show you that afterwards.
It's excellent. I highly recommend it. Look up Cobb Vanth or Cad Bane B-A-N-E.
Yeah.
All right.
Cad Bane.
Yeah.
So Mando shows up because
He's like, I
She-
need a
she-
new car.
yeah, because she mentioned, hey, I got a replacement for your minivan.
Yeah.
And so he pulls up expecting a minivan, and instead she's like, oh, I meant that I got a replacement for it, not a new minivan. Here's your motorcycle, but also I haven't finished fixing it. Here's your Harley instead of your minivan.
It's like,
And he's like, but I need a minivan because I live in my car.
he's like, okay.
Also, she almost got eaten by a womp rat, and so did BD, and I'm glad BD lived.
Hmm.
I would have been fine with her going,
I'm
though.
like, all right.
Although this is one of the few times where I thought she was actually funny. She did a really good job at being funny in this one.
She likes Jawas. That's
Yeah.
the best part of this
Yeah,
episode.
She's a furry.
She's
confirmed.
dated Jawas, and they're furry.
Furries exist in Star Wars. I mean, but are we surprised?
Well, no, Wookiees.
Yeah, Wookiees.
Not particularly.
So she's like, I got your Harley instead, and he's like, nope, give me my money back. And she's like, fine, I'll tell my droids to get your money back. But while they're doing that, hey, I want to still try to sell you on the Harley. It's like going to an actual dealership.
So do you really think? I understand where you're going with the Harley.
It's more of a comparatively to his
Like-
previous vehicle,
Like I would call it more.
maybe a muscle car.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
muscle car. It's more of a muscle car than a Harley.
Yeah.
Like a speeder bike would be your Harley.
Well, I would imagine though there is like a Harley equivalent for fighters type ship,
I think
starfighters.
they're all muscle cars. I think that's what Lucas always wanted them
Yeah,
to be, all muscle cars.
I mean, that makes sense, especially with Lucas's love for cars.
I'm gonna agree with him on this. I
Yeah,
do think it's
so-
more
Of course,
But-
you're gonna agree with. I am the Force.
So yeah,
Oh,
but
I have some bones to pick.
but my argument still.
Please, well, see, unfortunately,
Yeah.
I have no bones. You
Yeah.
can't pick.
I'll give you bones.
But my argument, my main point still makes sense though, that he goes from a minivan to a vehicle that he can't live in anymore, which I guess now he's gonna just get Airbnbs all the time because
So the Mandalorian, again, I think the minivan's cute. I like that because he's got the kid that works.
but he also lived in his vehicle.
Right. So wouldn't you think it'd be more like Eagle One from some Spaceballs?
Oh yeah, Eagle One. Yeah,
He's got a
got
more of a space RV.
Winnebago.
Space RV.
Yeah, Winnebago works. Yeah, so he had his little Winnebago, and then he got rid of it. Well, somebody blew it up. And,
There's a big difference between getting rid of something and it exploding.
well, he got
Well,
rid of it after it
unfortunately-
exploded.
From a certain point of view.
He got rid of it after it exploded. Because, all that was left was the little ball that he gave Grogu.
oh, a singular ball was left.
Yeah, and the Beskar spear, because that was on
I don't
board the
think
ship at
he's
the
gonna
time.
Have too much difficulty getting rid of it if it's in pieces.
So, anyways, so she manages to upsell him on it by going, hey, look, you want the muscle car. Trust me, we'll work on it together. So we get we get like 2 montages in a montage of having to build this muscle car.
Yeah.
We learn more about Peli and her love for Jawas. We also see that Mando treats Jawas better because he actually pays them.
Yeah.
Peli hates that idea though.
Yeah, Peli's like,
You're gonna spoil them.
yeah, look, I'm letting them go and dumpster dive, and you're giving them actual money. Stop doing that.
Yeah. They keep making modifications.
Yeah, so they make some modifications. They upgrade the engine to so that's where the muscle car fits in better because they give it like a muscle car engine.
And after the test drive.
Yeah, so during the test drive.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. It's during.
So he gets the test drive and he goes out into the pod racing scene. We see the actual, which I pointed it out and I was like, this is the actual track that they took, and you can tell because of there's that cliff where Anakin jumped the ramp. So that part, Beggar's Canyon. And so yeah, and then he leaves, goes into space.
The thing that I was worried about.
Yeah.
Was like, okay, real cool that you put all this stuff in. Is it actually gonna make it into space?
And that was his concern a little bit too, because he's like, should we not test it before we do a test drive? And she's like, no, you're good.
I'm like, I guess.
So then he goes into space. He starts doing a little showboating, flies up to the Rodian kid and gives him a wave, and then starts flying really close to that thing, like as if he's going on a Death Star trench run.
Pulled over.
Yeah, gets pulled over by the Popo. They're like, look, you flew too close. You can't be doing that. We got to give you a ticket.
And what I think is arguably the dumbest scene in the entire since the series is done now is the dumbest scene in the entire series. The space cops pulling over Mando is just dumb.
Yeah, because the argument of jurisdiction comes up.
No, it's just dumb. Outside of that, it's just like,
yeah.
I
think it was to make a through line for that the one character that knows him.
I just think they just wrote in a joke.
I think it's also for the through line of that character that knows him because I think it's going to be important in Mando season 3.
I just enjoyed it because it was like now that we're done with the cult, here's a few bits of levity.
And now also I kind of want a Star Wars show that's basically like muscle cars, because that can't be the only there's got to be so many people that are
that show.
Yeah.
There is
that show exists.
Yeah.
There is something.
But I mean, like for us to
yeah, no, you want a good version of that.
Well, I was trying to think what show was basically muscle cars, the Star Wars show.
Resistance.
Oh, that was more.
No, those are all souped up fighters. That it's a muscle car show.
Yeah.
That whole show is a muscle car show in space.
Yeah, I guess. And I liked Resistance more than most people.
Because you don't like there's not a Star Wars you don't like.
Yuzon Vong.
I just love.
There's not a canon Star Wars you don't like.
I don't know. They're trying to bring the Vong back.
I just love the mundanity of.
They just renamed him Grisk. Yeah, he got pulled over, and then of course the one that knows him is like, "Hey, I recognize your voice."
You used to own.
Did you used to own that Winnebago?
Yeah, and he's like, "No,
not me. Wrong guy." And it's like, I can see you through the window. I see your shiny helmet.
So,
also, I know your voice.
I'd be like, quit profiling me.
But I also don't think he was. I think he was He wanted to question him, not to harass him.
Hey,
but
are you that guy that shot up that remaining terrorist cell a couple of days ago,
or a few weeks? At this point, a few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago. No.
Because I don't think he wanted to harass him or anything. I think he just wanted a clarification of what happened.
Yeah.
Because the only other person that he tried to get info of that from is Kara, and Kara was like, "I'm not answering," and he's like, "I know you, but you won't help me." What's good? He's not trying to get anybody in trouble. I think he's just trying to get the story, and also because if anything, they'd probably be viewed as heroes for getting rid of a resistant Imperial remnant base.
Yeah,
but of course that obviously. Since Mando lives on the Outer Rim, he doesn't get that. He just sees it as, there's these outsiders that want to question me, not good.
Yeah.
And so he zips off, showing off his new nitro.
And he's like, did that guy just
do a hyperspace jump without? And he's like, no, I've seen that before.
That's just
That's just
Sublight.
that's just the sublight. And he's like, oh. And he's like, do you want to do the paperwork? Nope.
No. Do you want to spend all day doing paperwork? No.
So yeah. So Mando comes back down where he gets an offer from Finnick. Finnick's like, hey, you want a job? And he's like, oh, from Boba? Yeah. And she throws him some cash, and he's like, nah, I got this.
I'll
On the
do it
house.
for free since he helped me.
Yeah, he helped me. I'll help him.
Yeah. And they're like, that's good.
First,
He
though,
skipped a bit. Because he doesn't immediately. No, he says
he does.
He has to go.
He says, hey, I gotta do a visit to my child first.
Yeah.
Because I got to deal with the fact that mom won't let me see my son.
Yeah.
Because for some reason I have like a restraining order.
Yeah.
So, on to the next episode where he goes to see his son. We see R2. Well, hold on before we do that, because we're about to skip a bit if we go straight to him going to see his son. We meanwhile on Tatooine, on the different part of Tatooine, we see that Pike group is up to no good, making trouble in somebody's neighborhood. So Cobb Vanth decides to get into one little fight. This is early. This is before this is the first scene in this episode 6. So this is where he offers the
Pikes are dealing.
Yeah, the Pikes are with their spice, and he's like, look, I don't know what's in the box. You can leave now. We'll be good. Just don't go through here anymore.
Stop bringing the
Don't go into my
slave drugs,
Don't go into my town.
or I'll kill you.
And they're like, do you know who we are? And he's like, I don't care. And they're like, all right, we're going to shoot you. And he kills all but like a couple. And he's like, all right, get out of here. And they're like, all right, well, all but one. And the last one's like, all right, do you know how much this thing is worth? He's like, all right, it's enough to retire. And they're like, all right. And they run off to go tell their boss, hey, we got to deal with that sheriff because he's going to be a problem. And meanwhile, Vanth proves that he's a good guy by just dumping the spice. Because that shows his morality, I think. I think it's important to see, like, in case this is your first time seeing Vanth.
Yeah.
You know that Vanth is really quick on the draw. Because that's one of the important things you see in this moment is how quick he is on the draw. And then you secondly see that he is a morally good character.
Yeah.
Because he does not take the spice, he dumps it.
Yep.
Two very important things. Okay, so that's our scene with Vanth. Now we go to Dad going to see his child at school.
Yeah. He's like,
he's going to the private school to go see his son. And at the private academy, there's a little droid, a familiar little droid. I don't know if you've ever heard of R2-D2. He's like this, it's this minor character in Star Wars. I don't know.
Most of you would know who R2 is. The sarcasm from this man could sink a ship.
So R2 is like, all right, I'll bring you to where you're supposed to go. So he brings him to this hut that's being built.
And he just
see the Star Wars sequels to know what this is.
Yep. He just shuts off once he gets there.
He shuts off as soon as he gets there while the droids, the spider droids that are building the school provide a bench for him to sit on.
And he's like,
I was over on the bench. So, Mando's over on the bench waiting to see his kid, and he's like, I guess I'll take a nap.
Yep.
And so, meanwhile, Luke and Grogu are doing a little bit of training.
yeah.
And we see much better deepfake Luke. Much better than Battlefront 2 graphics Luke.
Mm.
But that's because they hired somebody that did a deepfake online, and they hired him, and they were like, yeah, that was a good job.
Yeah.
So he looks a lot better. Almost, this one's pretty good.
Yeah, it's almost.
And so Grogu's like, I want to have a snack. So he floats a frog over to him, but Luke's like, hey, you don't do that. You're supposed to be focusing. So then to one-up Grogu, he's like, oh, and also, if you think that's cool, watch this. Grabs every single frog that's in the... Which I think is a symbol of, like, Luke's ability as a Jedi at this point, because, like, it takes a lot of talent to...
He's gotten a lot.
Specifically pick up every single one of those frogs without one picking up the water, because, like, a lazy Jedi would just go, I'm just going to lift the water, which would grab the frogs.
Yeah.
also, or another lazy Jedi would go, I'm going to grab the frogs, but I'm not really good at it, so I'm going to accidentally kill them in the process, because you got to be able to grab them without choking them.
Yeah.
Or squeezing them, rather.
It does show quite a great deal of skill.
Yeah.
And not just raw power.
Yeah. Because there's a difference between raw power and skill. And I think we see a little bit of that.
Fortunately, Luke has both.
Yeah. So Luke drops.
Fortunately.
So yeah, fortunately. So then Luke also is like, okay, time to go on a walk. Yeah. So we get to see Mama Luke go on a walk with their kid, and does a little force assisted swing, kind of like when you're a kid and you get swung by your parents, as you're walking through the park, and they, except now it's just Mama Luke, so has to do it by herself. So you just use the force. And so Luke's like, I used to know somebody like you. They would talk weird. Do you remember anybody that would talk weird? And Grogu's like, I don't think so. And so Luke's like, well, I'm going to unlock all your repressed memories. Because, that's totally what you do to a child.
I was like, I don't like that you did that.
And because it's Dave Filoni, he has to show us Order 66 again, because this episode's directed by Dave Filoni, and Dave Filoni likes to show us Order 66 over and over and over again. So, to break our hearts once more, he shows us it from Grogu's perspective.
This was bad.
No wonder Grogu, repressed all that.
I don't want to remember that.
Yeah, it's no wonder he forgot like 19 years of Jedi training.
Yeah, they do.
And so Luke unlocks that, which then Luke's like, all right, now more Jedi training. You're going to learn how to jump. You're going to learn how to avoid being shot at. And also most of your force skills are going to be from you being able to remember your stuff, because Luke, we'll come back to it. So, because that's a conversation later. So anyways, Mando wakes up from his nap, points a gun at Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Because Ahsoka.
You were like, that's some Jedi shit.
Yeah, that's some quick draw for a Mandalorian, but at the same time it's a Mandalorian, so I guess maybe his senses are still pretty heightened. Just not to Jedi level, but it's pretty close.
It's almost there.
He missed Ahsoka getting there, but he knew she was there.
Yeah.
And so Ahsoka's like, "Oh, I told R2 to deliver you to me if you ever showed up, because Auntie Ahsoka is standing between you and Mom, so that way Dad never sees his kid." And so Ahsoka's like, look, I didn't agree to train Grogu, but Luke did, and I'm not going to get in the way of Luke's choice. And he's like, well, then let me have my choice to go see my kid. And it's like, okay, well, is that for the good of you or for the kid? He's like, I just want to bring my present. And once again, is that better for you or for the kid? Are you doing this for yourself? Are you being selfish? Are you doing this because it's the right? Or are you doing this because you care? And it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's a little bit selfish, but it's also not.
I want to see my kid and give him something that'll help.
But at the same time, it won't help Grogu's training.
Yeah.
And so he makes the rough choice of not seeing his kid.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you're right. If Grogu ever saw me, it would throw his training off.
Yeah.
So he's like, but still give the present to the kid.
Yeah. Let him at the very least know I'm still there.
That I still love him.
Care.
So Dad leaves, but Son still kind of knew.
Yeah.
Because Grogu's not dumb.
Yeah, he's not an idiot.
Also, he probably sensed his dad as soon as Dad got on the planet. Probably as soon as he was in atmosphere.
Yep.
So anyways, Dad leaves. Dad goes to have a meeting with Boba Fett, who does not speak at all during this meeting. Finnick does all the talking. And Finnick's like, cool, everybody's here. We've got our muscle. Now we need an army.
Yep.
And because of Season 2 of Mandalorian, Din's like, I know an army.
I think I can get us an army.
Yeah, I think I can get us an army. Let me go talk to my friend. So he goes off to go talk to Marshall.
Marshall Vamp.
Yeah, Marshall Vamp. So while he's going off, let's go back to the rest of Grogu's training, I guess, before we get to that part. So Grogu is basically mastering the Force at this point because, once again, Grogu's had 19 years of training that were just repressed.
Yeah.
Because Grogu's the same age as Vader. Very, very important detail. And unlike Anakin, Grogu was brought to the Jedi Temple as soon as possible.
Yep.
So, Grogu's had 19 years of the Jedi Temple before Order 66 to learn being a Jedi.
He force crushes that thing.
So, yeah, he force crushes the training remote droid, which is not the same one from A New Hope. That is confirmed. The one from A New Hope appears in the sequel films. It's still on the Falcon in the sequels, so it's not the same one.
That's not what I'm worried
Yeah,
about.
no. So Grogu is really powerful, though. Yeah. And
He's
so
like, I am done.
and Luke's like, Luke and Ahsoka are talking about it, which it's nice seeing Luke and Ahsoka together because it is a conversation that I know a lot of people have had of. Eventually, Luke and Ahsoka had to meet.
Yeah.
Like
They're
it's just
having,
it's an obvious thing. They had to obviously talk about the Anakin of it all at some point. Like they've had that conversation. But yeah, so Luke is like, man, I don't know if I'm training him or if he's just remembering stuff. Also, I don't know if his heart's in it because I know that he cares more about Mando than learning this, so I don't know if he's actually like all in or not.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka's like, oh, that reminds me of your dad. Oh, in a good way.
Luke's already like, the initial reaction is like,
Well, he's like, okay, well, at least it's in a good way.
yeah.
Anyway, so Ahsoka's like, all right, well, I got to go because I got my own spinoff show.
Yeah.
I got to go find Thrawn and Ezra.
My narrative is somewhere that way.
Yeah, so bye. Maybe I'll see you later because more than likely you'll probably appear in my show.
Yeah.
And so Luke is in like, all right, I guess I'll train Grogu by myself. Thanks.
Yeah. All right, bye, Auntie Ahsoka. You roasted.
Love you.
roasted fucking
Yeah, anyways.
Mando
anyways.
and abandoned me.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, she's not a Jedi.
Yeah, not anymore.
So, anyways, so let's go back now to Vanth.
Yeah.
And crew. So Mando parks his muscle car illegally. He parks it in a red zone, and one of the deputies comes up and is like, "Hey, you can't park there. You got to go to the parking garage." And he's like, "I'll park where I want. I'm here to see Vanth." He's like, No. You got to go to the parking garage." And then Vanth's like, "I got this.
Just go.
Go away. Also, don't ever open your mouth again because you're gonna die if you do."
All right.
And so Vanth is like, "Oh, where's the kid?" And Mandalorian's like, I left him with Mom. And now there's a restraining order on me from Mom.
Yeah.
So I can't ever see my kid. I still have to pay child support, though. And Vanth's like, "Oh, that sucks. Too bad you also stole my armor, you asshole."
Yeah.
Like he's yeah. But yeah, because he's like, "You took my armor." And he's like, "Technically it wasn't yours, though. It was Boba Fett's." And he's like, "Well, I guess we both lost something we liked."
Yeah.
So let's go have a beer now and talk about that.
Yeah. And he's like, so about Boba Fett.
Also, well, I also kind of like while we're talking about the bar, I like the redesign that they've done since killing a crate dragon together. They put the ribs as like the part of the bar, as part of the support beams of it. So, anyways, they talk. And man, like you said, Din's like, about Boba Fett. He needs your help.
And
because
kinda like,
he's like, you need to deal with the Pikes with us. And Vanth's like, I don't see where that's my problem.
he's like, they'll come here eventually.
He's like, they've already been coming here. I've been killing them. And also, then the bar guy, I forget his name.
He's like, that's a city fight.
Yeah, that's that we don't care about no city folk because we're Freetown now. We're not Mos Pelgo. We're Freetown, which is the original name of the town, anyways, in the Aftermath novel. So it's nice seeing them come back to that. They're taking a lot more of the Aftermath novel because that's where he gets introduced, where Vanth got introduced. So a lot of that's coming back into the visual media. I wonder if they'll go back to him being a slave at one point because Vanth started as a slave, and that's where he kind of rose up.
He's like, fine.
But yeah, Vanth's like, look, we'll talk about it. I'll have one of those old-fashioned Western City Hall meetings about it.
And
where we talk in the barn and everybody argues and yells over whether or not we'll fight.
and we'll see what comes of it.
It'll be like Blazing Saddles.
Maybe we'll help you, maybe we won't.
Yeah. And so Din's like,
Din's like-
I'm pretty confident you'll help me. See ya.
It's like, good enough. I'm pretty sure I've got the majority vote.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got the majority vote. So he goes back to report to Boba.
Yeah.
And then the title of the episode, A Stranger Comes From...
A stranger from the sand.
Stranger from the Sand. And, it's fun. It's always fun seeing this moment from different people's perspective.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you had already been spoiled.
I got spoiled on it.
You had already known Cad Bane was going to show up. So Cad Bane shows up, and he basically works for the Emperor from Dune. He's like, let the spice flow.
Yeah. I knew a little bit.
Yeah, once
about-
again, this is one of those things where you know the basics of Cad, but you don't know the
I don't know all of it.
Yeah. So Cad Bane shows up, and he's like, hey, you should just not be involved. You'll get paid very handsomely for just not getting involved. Unfortunately, Deputy McGee over here decides to step out. Barney Fife pulls up and is like,
Need him to not talk.
he's like, we don't take kindly to your kind. We ain't gonna
See,
get bought off.
Unlike with the Major Domo, who, while his talk is annoying, it doesn't put people in danger.
Meanwhile, the
He is
deputy,
both annoying and putting people in danger.
yeah, the deputy's definitely, well, at the very least himself, if nobody else.
I'm like,
But yeah,
while I really
and it was great. It was great. I love watching Timothy Olyphant's performance in this scene because every time the deputy opened his mouth, the Cobb Vanth would look over like, "You motherfucker! I told you to shut up."
Not talk.
Like his eyes are just like, "You motherfucker!" Like just if you don't pay attention to it, watch Cobb Vanth's like facial reaction anytime he looked to the deputy during that scene. He's just like,
Why are you talking? Stop talking.
and so.
Do you know who this is? And how fucked
Which
we
even
are?
Vanth doesn't really know who he is, but he's just like, he works for the Pikes, and he's obviously here to kill people if we don't
Yeah.
listen. So that's good
And
enough
he
for me.
came alone.
And he came alone, so that's good enough for me to be like, let's take this seriously. And unfortunately, we then get, we get that good, the bad, and the ugly sort of deal where, and we get a little bit of like that Western standoff.
Yeah.
And everybody reaches for their guns. The deputy pulls first because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And Cad, and once again, because like we said at the beginning of the episode for this one, we learned how fast that Vanth is. Vanth is a quick draw.
Yeah.
It's important to know that because then we see somebody faster.
Yep.
Cad Bane.
And
Cad Bane is faster, unfortunately, and shoots Vanth in the shoulder.
yeah, I'm
And
assuming it's like
It's like,
here.
yeah, it's like in the mass of it.
Yeah.
And then
Not in a lethal spot, but enough to be like no longer.
and potentially lethal. Like if nobody was there for immediate
Yeah.
medical care. Luckily for Vanth, everybody immediately
Yeah.
rushed to save him.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunate.
could be done for the deputy.
Yeah, the deputy got
He's
shot.
gone.
Yeah, he got shot a lot.
What was the thing I said last night? A whole clip.
Yeah, it was basically a whole clip. Yeah. I think that was more of a disrespect thing for Cad. Cad was
Yeah.
like, you disrespected me. Like, I respect that this guy at least tried to, like, have a conversation, even if we weren't coming to terms.
Yeah.
Like, he was having a regular conversation. You were just rude, so I'm gonna absolutely make sure you're dead. And so, yeah, then Cad just leaves and he's like, let the spice flow.
Yep.
All right, so now we have our big threat.
Yeah.
A little late.
Oh,
A little late.
Also, during that episode, Sanctuary gets explodified.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so it's after Bane kills them, Sanctuary gets exploded.
Yep.
Thankfully, Max Rebo is still alive because he was not there. Once again, Max Rebo survives an explosion.
Like, I'm on tour. I gotta go. That's my explanation. He's always on tour.
Yeah, he's always on tour. Although I think that was some of his bandmates there.
Well.
Yeah.
I guess
So anyways.
get new ones.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah. So now
Might take a while though.
now Boba Fett shows up to.
Hold on. It wasn't his bandmate. It's guys he sit in.
Oh yeah, his guy just yeah.
This is how it works.
Yeah.
He's a family musician. He goes from Espa to Espa. Hey, what's up, guys? Doing jazz time. What we doing?
No,
Never miss no gig.
it's not jazz time, it's jizz time. And also confirmed that
I forgot about
also
that. I forgot the music was called that.
yeah, it's called jizz, and also that means that Max Rebo makes jizz with his feet, as one of my TikTok mutuals has confirmed. Also, Pablo Hidalgo confirms that he only has 2 limbs, so that even though there are some action figures that show him with 4 limbs, it is confirmed that in canon it's only 2.
I assumed he just uses.
Or Hidalgo's just messing with us, which it's also like very Hidalgo.
I assumed.
But one of my friends, that's their joke. They one of my mutuals on TikTok. Because he escaped somehow. Yeah. 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 Yeah, I don't know. I guess we never know because every time we see him, he's behind his keyboard.
I just assumed he used his trunk.
He used it. No, because we see him use his little or whatever you want to call him. He's got his.
Very tiny arms.
We see him all the time. Anyways, moving on.
Oh.
Thank you, Shayla Wren, for starting that one. That's the TikTok user that started this one. So
The gang's all here.
So yes, the gang is So the gang's all here at the ruins of Sanctuary,
They're like,
and Boba Fett's like, well, I guess we're going back to the palace because we got to have a good defensible
they're
position.
like,
and the
no.
mods are like, what? No, that makes you look bad. That makes you look like
a
you don't.
coward.
Yeah, it makes you look like you don't care about the people.
Yeah.
And
like,
he's like,
okay,
yeah,
we're
I
here
guess
then.
you're kind of right. And so he's like, well, I hope we have an army. And Din is way too assured of the fact that he's got an army. Because when he left, Vanth was even still like, you might not have us. And Din's like, we got an army. And Boba's like, you sure? He's like, yeah, we got an army. How much do we pay for it? Free. Well, kind of free adjacent. We made a promise that we'd get rid of the spice. And Finnick's like, what? That's how we make money. But once again, because Boba Fett is a Corleone, we don't deal in drugs. So they decide to plan their stand. And so the plan is mods are going to be in a certain district watching that. Basically, all the main groups are separated into specific districts. The mods are in a district. Chrysanthemum's by himself in a district because, let's be honest, Chrysanthemum can handle himself. He's in the Trandoshan district, which is
feel bad for them.
the mods are in the Aqualish district.
And the Gamorreans.
The Gamorreans
the spaceport.
are at the spaceport area with I think that's basically it. And those are basically your main groups.
Yeah.
Because Boba Fett and Finnick.
Are we missing anyone?
No, Boba Fett, Finnick, and because the people of Freetown have not shown up yet because they haven't decided yet, so to speak. Because Boba Fett, Finnick, and the mayor's major domo and Din are basically staying at Sanctuary. No, Finnick went off. Finnick is also with, she's in a district somewhere, I forget. I think she went with the mods. Or, no, she's in a different district, though. There is a district that she's in.
So I have some Max Rebo clarification thanks to Wikipedia.
Oh, boy.
So going back to Max Rebo.
Yeah.
So you are partially right. Max was intended to be on a perch on a cushion at the same height as the organ keys and using his sole 2 limbs to play those keys. The sole 2 limbs are supposed to be feet.
So Max Rebo plays jizz with his feet.
However, that's not canon.
Yeah, they've...
And so, and the closest thing, the closest non-canon thing we have is West End Games depiction of the species,
Mhm.
which gives them arms and legs.
Yeah, yeah.
Thinking like much
but
like
so far there is no canon clarification.
right. So,
So
but,
until they show us, it could be anything. It's,
however, I have noticed that Star Wars, unless it's something glaring,
they've pulled from Legends.
They lean toward like what Kenner did.
Yeah.
And Kenner gave him arms and legs.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming that that's because I mean they put Bib Fortuna's staff. They
They did.
What's the medical droid?
Oh, I know who you're talking
The
about.
B.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. But he whole lower body didn't have anything. Kenner
Yeah.
built one, and so when they rebuilt him for Rogue One, he's got Kenner legs.
Yeah.
And so I would assume that they would give him Kenner.
I guess
Kenner
we'll see. For now, it's Schrodinger's feet or limbs. Schrodinger's limbs.
I like it, Schrodinger's feet.
So yeah. So there's our Max Rebo clarification for now until we get an update. Until Lucasfilm, the cowards, show us the rest of his body.
I blame Kathleen Kennedy on that. She does not want us to see his feet or his hands or whatever he's got. That's all KK's fault. Get her out. Get her out. Until we get his limb number, get her out.
I think we have the right audience where they'll know they'll know that's a joke. But
So,
yeah,
the gang is.
the gang is all here. Well, but splitting up because that's the plan. Because they figure if we cover all the districts, we can't be surprise attacked.
They
Unfortunately,
are incredibly wrong. about
so
that.
unfortunately, there's a bit we missed because we forgot the meeting Boba Fett had with all the leaders.
Oh yeah, he's like basically.
Basically, don't get in. Well, originally it was, hey, help me out because the
But-
Pikes are in
but-
trouble. But they were like, what's in that for us?
he's like,
Because we make money off the spice. And he's like, all right, well, look, just don't get involved, and we're good. Unfortunately, it turns out
involved.
the ultimate anime betrayal.
Everyone-
Everybody is working for the Pikes. So therefore, Cad Bane just strolls into town and pulls up to the torture droid and is like, "Hey, I need to talk to your boss." Torture droid comes in and is like, "Hey, we got a visitor," and they're like, "So much for nobody being able to get in." And so Cad Bane, knowing Boba Fett's
Yeah.
buttons, is like, "Hey, I just had a meeting with the Pikes, who basically gave me some very key info about you living with the Tuskens. They told me that they killed the Tuskens. I know that might upset you for some reason. I don't know if that'll get you to fight me or not. I want to fight you, and you don't want to fight me, but what if I told you that? Would that change your mind?" And sure enough, it changes Boba Fett's mind.
He's like, I'll kill you right now.
Yeah, I'll kill you right now. And Finnick's like, no, you can't kill him right now. This is the one time where I'm going to tell you no on killing somebody. Like, usually Finnick is pro solving the issue ahead of
Like-
time. But this
Like now you choose.
now you choose to be a killer. And so Cad is obviously trying to just goad him for a fight. Because obviously he wants this fight to happen.
Yeah. It's like I want round 2.
I want round 2
Since
because
round 1 worked out pretty well for me.
round 1, which we've never seen but we know happened, ended with Boba Fett getting the dent in his armor. We don't know what happened with Cad because obviously the Clone Wars episode that got deleted, Cad died in. So the original duel, Cad died, but that's no longer canon, obviously, because Cad made it here. But we know that Boba got the dent in his armor somehow. More than likely, Dave Filoni would want to keep that duel in some way. So obviously, they both survived the duel. Also, we know that Cad and Boba don't see eye to eye anymore
Yeah.
because there was some sort of reason that they stopped. That they just became pure rivals. Originally, they worked together. Obviously, they become pure rivals for unknown reasons.
So that happens, and they're like, well,
Anyways,
seems negotiations have fallen through.
yeah. So Cad leaves and is like, "All right, I'll be back. Have fun." So
And
thus begins the war, the betrayals everywhere.
Yep.
Because immediately after negotiations fail, Boba, thinking he still has the upper hand, he does not. All the betrayals happen. all the groups that are working for the Pikes begin to attack Boba's people. And immediately that does not work out great for Boba.
No.
So thankfully everybody kind of defeats their group that they're dealing with, although it looks bad for them for a while. In fact, when we leave them, it all looks bad. So at this point, Fennec is gone, and it's just Boba and Din holding off the remains of Sanctuary, and it against all these Pikes in one of the best fight scenes in so far.
Yeah.
Like this, I love this. I love seeing just Din and Boba just do their thing. You get to see why. So it leads credence to my argument, though, that Boba is nothing without his armor when it comes to combat. For the most part, because for the most part, there's some stuff in combat that he's good with without it, but he's better when he has his armor because he has all his little toys.
I would say most Mandalorians are.
Yeah, most Mandalorians are. So, anyways, they managed to hold themselves off in almost a standoff.
Yeah.
But after a certain point, it looks like they're about to go down when, hooray, the cavalry's here from Freetown.
Yeah.
They come in, save the day by kind of like providing. Basically, they come in on like a tank, on like an armored car, with a gun, and they manage to like use that as like their like cover, while everybody hides behind it. And including the rest of the crew, who thankfully everybody's alive.
Yeah.
Chrysanthemum, the mods, Fennec, everybody just kind of shows up at this point.
Does not show
Oh, Fennec does not. You're right.
Because I believe Boba has dispatched her to go and get rid of basically central command for the Pikes.
Yeah. Also, before this fight,
Yeah.
the funniest moment in this episode happens. So before the fight, before Boba and Din do their last stand, so they're talking. They're like, Boba's like, man,
Hey,
oh no, if you want to cut and run, you can. And Din's like, nope, I promise to help you out. It's all about my honor at this point. And Boba's like, it's a good thing you still believe in that, because he's like, it's a good thing you believe in all that Mandalorian stuff, because Boba's not really a Mandalorian.
No.
He's not really. Like, he has the armor, but while he has maybe the lineage, it's up in the air whether or not Jango's a Mandalorian. In canon, it's up in the air because there is no. A lot of people say he's not because, as far as we know, the evidence points against it. Canon evidence, anyways. Meaning Boba Fett is not either. So Boba's like, I don't believe in that, but it's good that you do because I'm sticking to, because I've made a promise to the people of Mos Espa at this point to not cut and run either. Because Din's like, so what's the plan? We gonna distract them and get to your ship? And he's like, nope, I'm staying. And then Major Domo comes out, and he's like, well, not to brag or anything, but I went to finishing school in Coruscant, which makes me better than you, but not better than you. Don't worry. And of course, so he's like, I know how to, like, talk to these people. I'm a man of I've got skills. Public speaking. I can negotiate, so to speak. And I'll do all the groveling and stuff, and, I'll be the weak one while you still look all good, and all you have to do is pay them off probably in the background.
He's like,
a little bit of exile, a little bit of paying off in the background, you'll be good. And so he's like, so what do you think? And Boba's like, sure, I'll write a message. Give me your tablet. And folks, this is why if you ever are the messenger for somebody in a life or death situation,
fucking
read the message that you're about to give before you give it. So he comes out here so confident, and he's like, so Boba Fett says that he is willing, that if you guys leave and take your spice trade away, he is willing to tell you to go fuck yourself. Oh, fuck. Well, fuck me. And he's like, but don't shoot the messenger. And that's when the fight starts with Boba and Din and them doing their awesomeness, and then we get everybody to help them out. Yep. Now we're caught back up.
Yep.
We couldn't skip that joke because that was great.
Boba Fett offers you
nothing. Boba Fett just offers you his middle finger. Essentially.
The best part I think Grogu's on planet.
Not yet. Oh, yes. Because at the start of the episode, Grogu has made it to the planet. Mama Luke decided that she was so upset that Grogu... we skipped talking about the decision.
Oh, yeah, we did.
We got so pumped about the war, we forgot the decision. So Mama Luke decided to make Grogu make a decision.
And it's one
that I get to a degree. But it's also like, Luke, that's messed up. But it's also like, what other... What Luke knows no other way to train a Jedi.
Yeah. I explained to you, like, the way
Yeah,
I was viewing
like,
the situation.
Like, it's not great.
Like,
but
we're already going with, like, the divorced parents joke.
Yeah, it's basically the... Do you want to spend time with mom or dad?
Who do you want to live with for a while, I guess.
And also, that means you don't love me anymore if you go see the other.
But like,
but also Luke's not that petty about it.
he's
But
not like that.
no. So Luke's like, hey, I got Yoda's lightsaber.
He's like,
You can have that, or you can have the armor, and whichever one you choose, that's who you're gonna live with.
yeah,
So obviously, Grogu picks the armor, because I mean, let's be honest, that was always gonna be the choice.
Yep.
I think though, at the same time, Luke didn't do it to force this choice. I think it goes back to that quote that Luke has with Ahsoka, where he says that he doesn't think Grogu's heart is in it.
yeah,
And he's right. Grogu's heart is not in it. So I think at the end of the day, Luke giving Grogu that choice helped Grogu.
yeah.
Because it basically confirmed you don't want to be a Jedi, and that's fine. Now go be with your dad.
Yep.
And so, but Luke is also like really salty in a way by sending Grogu with just R2.
Yeah, I am confused by that.
You send the child who can barely use, like, who doesn't have a lightsaber because you didn't give him one.
You did at least have the foresight to put the armor on him.
Yeah. But yeah, so you let him go with just your droid.
Yeah.
Which your R2 is capable, don't get me wrong. But, really? But yeah, so Peli finds R2 because the R2 lands the X-Wing in Peli's shop. And so Peli's like, oh, Grogu, welcome back. That's a crappy name, by the way, because it's the first time Peli's learned Grogu's name. Which,
Bright
you know what?
eyes.
Peli calls him Bright Eyes because he's got those wide, you know. So Peli's like, all right, let's go find your dad. Because Peli because Peli doesn't know.
Yeah, in the middle of a firefight.
So back to Mos Espa.
They're having to deal with tank droids.
Yeah, because they think they've won a little bit because the Pikes start to retreat when these droids that are basically giant droidicas because they have the shield bubbles come walking in and ruining everybody's day, and everybody tries to shoot at them and tries different things, but to no avail.
Can't have anything nice.
And Chrysanthemum gets pretty close.
Yeah,
he gets the closest, and he actually messes up their shields by getting so close because he realizes, oh, I could just walk in slowly and then use my Vambrance my brass knuckles. Yeah, my shock knuckles to mess you up.
Yeah.
And so that does a little bit of damage. Unfortunately, the Darksaber does nothing.
Yeah. It's a good attempt.
Good attempt, but not quite. So Boba's like, all right, well, I'll be back because I have a plan. And meanwhile, Din's like, what else do we have? We're out of backup. And Boba's like, no, we're not. I got this.
It's like, unless you've got an army.
And so, meanwhile, Din starts running through the city, letting the droid chase him, and he finds Peli, and he's like, Peli, what are you doing here? Get away, get away! And Peli's like, I can't hear. Oh, back away, and a big funny chase scene happens with, and we get a little nice moment where Din and Grogu reunite, and being the father that Din is like, you gotta hide, don't get out of hiding until this is all over. Obviously, Grogu does not listen to that because it's Grogu. All right, so they managed to defeat the droids because Boba comes in with his Rancor, riding on a Rancor. We get a payoff for that.
He took his Rancor riding lessons.
Yeah, so we get some payoff for that, and we get basically a Godzilla fight.
Yeah, kaiju fight.
Yeah, kaiju fight. You get a kaiju fight. You get giant robot versus giant monster. It's basically Pacific Rim.
2-for-1 special, really.
Yeah. So they fight, and thankfully, after they weaken the armor, the shielding some more, they manage to and Grogu also manages to use the Force to slow it down. Rancor manages to fuck up the first one.
Yeah.
And then so Rancor makes its way and fucks up the second one.
Yeah.
And that's basically it for that. Unfortunately, Van Cleef over here is still not done with goading Boba into fights.
Yeah.
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane
And
scares away the
Cad Bane uses flamethrower to attack the Rancor, and it's very effective.
Yeah, I was like, note to self. They don't like fire very much.
Most things I imagine don't like fire, though. To be fair,
Yeah.
so
Do you like fire?
not in my face, not like that. So yeah.
Oh God.
So
Here's the thing.
Rancor goes running off, knocks Boba Fett off of him, and Boba Fett's like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna have to fight you myself."
Hard way it is.
Hard way it is. Unfortunately, we know how good Cad Bane is with guns and melee attacks in general, ranged attacks in general.
Yeah.
So Cad is winning.
Yeah.
Cad is
Here's the
winning.
thing. You are lucky. If you did not have that armor, you would be dead 3 times over.
Yeah, because Cad got some good shots in.
Yeah. Like they're strong enough
Lethal
to not-
shots. Lethal shots if it wasn't for your Beskar armor.
Yeah. They're strong enough to like knock him down even with the armor.
Yeah, so he gets knocked down a lot, and Cad is, of course, still goading him because he's like, it's one of those things of, even if I don't win, I'm going to make you into a killer, which means I still win. Either way, Cad wins. And so, because at this point, Boba's trying to be less of a killer.
Yeah.
Like, he's willing to still kill if he has to.
But he's like, I'm not.
And so,
I think it's the difference is he doesn't kill for money anymore.
yeah. And so, like, just as Cad's about to get a killing shot in on, because he takes Boba's mask off, helmet off, he's about to take the killing shot. Boba's like, nah, I got my gaffy stick still. And we are reminded that while Cad is great at ranged,
he is not that great.
He's not that great at
close
melee.
quarters.
Yeah. So Boba immediately knocks him down with the gaffy stick and then stabs him.
Mhm.
And of course, Cad gets one more in of, ha, you're still a killer. And that's the end of Cad. Unfortunately, we now have a runaway Rancor that's rampaging through town.
But don't worry.
But don't worry, Din is going to try to deal with it. It does not go well.
Not working well.
Unfortunately, while Din looks like the Rancor's daddy, it is not the Rancor's daddy. So,
This pisses off the Rancor.
yeah,
Quite
the Rancor tries to eat him. Doesn't work because of the Beskar helmet.
Yeah.
Gets a little bit of flame for lunch instead, which also angers him. And then throws him down like a toy.
I forget if the Rancor climbs down or if he just fucking throws him.
He just throws
He
him.
just throws him like 5 stories.
Yeah. And so then Grogu steps up because Grogu's like, I know how to deal with this. And he uses
He casts animal friendship.
yeah, animal friendship essentially, yeah.
The highest
Because
level of
Grogu's not afraid because he's seen the trailer for the new Jurassic World.
But like, I think
So
a
yeah,
lot of people may give like animal friendship a lot of shit for being a force fire. But
It-
I like it.
it exists, and it's not the first time we've seen it because
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Ezra kind of has it to a degree, and it's one of those things of it's very easy to become one with.
Yeah.
Once again, it has to do with the forces and everything, so therefore, one with nature is a very obvious thing to happen. And animals, what's more natural than animals?
Yeah.
So, and then we get a boy and his dog taking a nap afterwards
Yeah,
because
they're like,
that took a lot out of
Nap
Grogu,
time.
which makes sense because Grogu is still learning the Force, and while he has a lot of potential.
It's still exhausting.
It's still exhausting using big powers like that, especially against a giant creature. All right, so the day has been saved.
Yep.
All right. Any other major thing before we go away from it?
I don't think so. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah. There is one more thing in the credits. I'm trying to think if there's anything before the credits that I'm missing. I don't think. Oh yes.
Mr. Van Cleef.
Well, Van Cleef is dead because Boba killed him. But we forgot the mayor and all the traitors and the Pike.
They got fucking murdered.
Yeah. So as
I think
as the
what was
music.
it I said, stay away from the windows.
Yeah. So I don't know if Boba ordered it or not, but
He told her to take them out. He
Okay.
never specified
how?
how.
So yeah, Finnick shows up because they're all complaining. The mayor's like, I didn't say that we should have had a full on war and all that, and they're also like, all right, time to get out of here. And the Pike leader's like, it's time to get out of here. This is you guys are useless now to me. And they're like, well, take us with you. And he's like, no, fuck you guys. I don't care about you guys. I was only here because Tatooine was useful for me until now.
Yeah.
And so then Finnick shows up and starts killing everybody.
Yep.
The mayor gets hung. Like bone neck snapping and everything. And the leader of the Pikes gets stabbed in the back with a poison knife. I think it's a poison knife, or they just bleed green, I guess.
I think they just bleed green. Whoops.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyways, so yeah, so that's the official like ending essentially.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else before because I want to talk. I think that's
tap 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 on the glass.
Yeah, that's the final shot. So the final scene before the credits and before the mid-credit scene is Mando and Grogu in their motor in their hot rod. And yep,
Go fast,
go
Dad.
fast, Dad. Dude, hit the nitro again. Do it again.
No.
Do it again, Dad.
No.
Do it again, Dad.
No.
Fine.
Yeah.
And so he hits the nitro one more time, and that's the last until Mando season 3.
Yep.
All right. Credits play. We see the nice little artwork. Mid-credit scene. It turns out Marshall ain't dead.
Yep.
Which that made sense. I already figured
Yeah.
that. They didn't need to confirm that to me, but yeah. So and
Mod Doctor.
Mod yeah.
Thundercat.
Thundercat. Yeah,
I think
that's the
actual
that's
name
the
in
that's
show.
the that's not his name in the show, but that's the his stage name in real life. Thundercat is here to modify him somehow.
Doing,
I wonder what the modifications are going to end up.
maybe some shoulder plating.
Maybe, but I think there's going to be more to it than that. Maybe they're going to maybe add some weaponry maybe. I have a feeling that he's less going to be Marshal of Freetown now and more be one of Boba Fett's like main enforcers. Because I feel like Boba's going to call in a debt for that.
Yeah.
I think we are going to get a Boba Fett season 2 at some point, just not right away.
Maybe.
Because I think there's more to the story. Anyways,
I think I like stuff.
overall though,
I liked it.
overall you liked it. This is one where it's 7.5.
Yeah.
It has pacing issues, and it has, I think we told it the best way, which is more in order. I think I'm fine with flashbacks more than other people, but yeah, the flashbacks did not help it. Telling that story with flashbacks did not help it. So that pacing is the major issue, really. And then, of course, I feel like the side turn should have been done soon. We maybe should have seen a lot of this stuff sooner, like Cad Bane should have shown up sooner. Make him a threat sooner, rather than for an episode and then die immediately the next episode.
Yeah, I think so.
Because the argument I've had, and it's the argument I had with our guest next, because we have a guest next week. It's a discussion I've had with our guest next week, and she kind of gave me a point on this one. If you've never watched anything else with Cad Bane, you don't understand the relationship between Boba Fett and Cad. So at least show us some of that relationship. Maybe don't have Cad be there like as a threat maybe in the early episodes. Maybe you could still do it this way, where Cad doesn't show up in the present day until now, but show some if you're doing the flashback thing, make use of that.
Yeah.
Make use of the flashback. Show us more of Boba Fett's life.
Yeah. Cad Bane is a dangerous man.
But maybe they're saving it for something else, because Cad is currently in Bad Batch. So maybe they're saving it for Bad Batch. But if Boba Fett's the only thing you'll see, it doesn't.
You have no idea who this is.
You have no idea who this is. You don't know why it's important other than what he tells you.
Yeah.
And you get most of it from what he tells you, but it still lacks something.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, 7.5 for me.
I'll give it an 8.
Okay. We've kind of reversed roles on this week compared to last week.
Yeah.
All right, so I built this up. So that's our Book of Boba Fett review. And I've kind of built this up, and so we're doing our first piece of truly Legends material. While Visions is not canon, I wouldn't call it Legends material either. So next week, we're going to talk about Star Wars The Old Republic, specifically the new expansion coming out, Legacy of the Sith. You have not played any of The Old Republic.
No, I've not.
I am going to make you just jump in on that expansion. We built you an account yesterday.
Yeah.
The only thing we haven't done yet is paid for the subscription yet. We'll probably do that when the actual expansion comes out. Which by the time you're watching this, the expansion's out. We probably have already played some of it because the expansion comes out Tuesday for us. So I guess we'll have to figure out a day for you to come over after work or before work.
Yeah.
We'll start playing it.
God, if it's like my work schedule this week, show up before work.
Yeah. You know what I mean, though. We'll work around both of our schedules. So that way we can play throughout the week. But for you guys, we've already been playing it. But I guess now's the time to announce our first official guest on the show. So
I haven't met this person, but you have.
Yes, and by met I mean like internet meet.
Yeah.
It is Sawyer, and she goes by Sawyerism on TikTok and a lot of her social medias. She is a Star Wars lore master. She deals with a lot of the Old Republic stuff, and so that's why I invited her, because she and I share a love for the Old Republic era. And so, since the new expansion was coming out, I was like, hey, you want to play the new expansion with me and Seth, and do you want to talk about it on our show? And she was like, yeah. So, we got to work out a schedule for playing together. So that's going to be a thing. I'll send you an invite to her Discord.
All right.
Because she has a Discord as well. That way, we can figure out the schedule together of playing it once it comes out. She's finishing up some of the previous expansions right now, which I helped her with one. I did not help her with the rest. I'm the only one who's caught up to present at the moment.
I will have no context for what's going on again.
And it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Why am I shooting this guy again?
Why is Malgus here? You at least know who Malgus is.
Didn't you die?
Question
mark.
So yeah. So Sawyer is our first official guest, and that's gonna be fun. She's great.
Yeah.
She has a lot of interesting Star Wars opinions, I think, especially revolving the Old Republic. She has a lot of knowledge. We go back and forth on knowledge because I got more of the game knowledge, where like when it comes to like certain choices to make, but she's got more of the lore side, which I've got some of, but she's definitely a lot further than I am. So I definitely go to her for some of that. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun having our first official guest.
Yeah, I think so.
And I hope we get more, because the basic premise of this show when I made it was to have a guest every week.
Yeah.
Obviously, that has not happened. I would like to have more Star Wars content creators on, because I know so many of them. But also, like, everybody's schedules are so busy that it's just hard to get everybody together.
It's hard to coordinate anything as an adult.
Yeah, because I wanted to have Shaylo on at some point. That's yet to fall through. I hope when we start talking about High Republic Adventures, I can get her, because she loves that series of comics. Once again, don't know. I tried to get Star Wars Explained. I tried to message him for Visions, because he was the only one that I could think of for Ronan. Because he's the only one I could think of that had information that knew Ronan well enough to talk about it. But I didn't get a response from him. I don't know him as well as I know a lot of the other content creators, so I didn't get a response. I'm not trying to call anybody out. This is more of just this is a me on. I am very last minute on trying to get people. I think Sawyer's the first one where I gave like a month's notice.
I think that's something that has to happen, because
It's hard though. It's hard though, because there's a lot of stuff that like it's just coming out and it throws off my schedule.
Yeah.
And it's changed our release. It's changed our schedule for the show multiple times. And so, but yeah. So the Old Republic is next. I figured out our solution for how we're gonna play it together, because we had an issue there.
Yeah, that was gonna be a problem, but
I figured out that. We're not gonna have voice chat with Sawyer when we're playing, because her computer, much like yours, has issues when it comes to doing certain things, and hers is she can't do video game and voice chat because too much RAM. Yeah. So we'll have her at least on Discord and be able to type to her, but we won't have voice chat. So that'll be fun. It'll be fun to play that. And plus, we'll be able to get our voiced opinions because we'll have her through Discord on the show. That's the plan. But yeah. So that's the show. It's weird. It's weird because we're not live.
We're not live.
I guess usual stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you really like our content, check out the Patreon, because the Patreon will give you exclusive access to our YouTube content a week before it's uploaded to YouTube, as well as access to us in the Discord, which I think I'm working on getting Sawyer in our Discord, but I don't know if she's going to stick around because she's already in a lot of Discords. I'm in a lot of Discords. I need to get rid of some that I'm in. And so, also, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe, and in this case, comment, because this isn't live, so we didn't get to see your thoughts as we. So go ahead and give us your thoughts here. I'll try to answer some of them, and also check out our Twitch if you're on Twitch. Be sure to subscribe and follow. YouTube is youtube.com/Escape Reality Films. Twitch is twitch.tv/CJ Star Wars 94. Be sure to check out Mobcast Network and Gamers and Geeks, because thank you guys for the studio. Mobcast Network do other podcasts that I'm a part of. We have Cult Movie Cantina and Mando Mondays, which is over now at this point by the time this episode's out. We won't be talking about any more Mando Mondays, but we might be back to regular Star Wars. I don't know if we're going to go back to My Star Wars Life yet. That's the other Star Wars podcast that they do, where it's just we talk about what's going on. I think we'll go back to that, but I'm not sure. That I haven't discussed that yet. I'm a producer, but I'm not the main producer on that. But I know for sure Cult Movie Cantina will have an episode this week. I don't know what we're talking about yet. Well, last week was The Purge. So this week would be us talking about
the second one.
No. It would be just us. Actually, it'd be the final episode for the season, which is gonna have a trivia thing where we're gonna see how much our host, outside of Scotty, including myself, remember the rest of the season of what we've done and talked about. A review of the season, and seeing it's a test. Also, it's a pop quiz of how much we remember of the season. So come join us for that to see how much we remember. And then, that's it for that. And you can find those videos on youtube.com/Mopcast Network. You can also find the podcasts on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast. But if you want the video, it's on YouTube. And if you are in the Mobile, Alabama area, check out Gamers and Geeks, where you can play some board games, play some arcade games in the back for $10 for the day, all that good stuff, Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering cards, all that good stuff. So I think that's everything. Anything you can think of that I missed?
I think you already talked about their rent a game console.
Oh yeah, rent a game console also. I didn't talk about that last week, but this week we'll mention it. At Gamers and Geeks, there's also Engage Gaming, which is like another store technically within the same store, and you can for a monthly fee you can basically rent a console. You can come here and basically use a console that they've got, including I don't know if they got the newest PlayStations and Xboxes.
I don't know,
but they've got the previous generations at the very least. They've got VR. They've got PC, so you can basically play just about anything.
Yeah.
You're not really going to miss out on anything, I don't think. So, come check them out. And I guess we'll see you guys next week with our review of Star Wars The Old Republic, Legacy of the Sith.
Except, it won't be next week.
Well, it's next week for anybody watching when this airs.
Yeah.
But if you're watching on the Patreon, because this is pre-recorded, So you can watch it if you're watching on the Patreon. Then it will be 2 weeks from now.
Yep.
Because unfortunately, the next episode will not be pre-recorded because the expansion's not out yet, so we can't give our thoughts.
We can't do that. But we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Until then, have a good time.
Yeah. And may the force be with you. I guess
Yeah.
we'll start saying that because got to end on a Star Wars note. Have a good one.
Yep.